Oh, hey bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion. And Carrie Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Monday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. A show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, and hot topics. And we'll even get a little political on this show sometimes, of course, if it kind of collides or coincides with what's going on in the world of entertainment, which we do have something based on that, because of course Donald Trump wants to be a celebrity so goddamn bad. But we'll get into that in a second. So that's the show for you. Definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including this huge drop Fantastic Four took at the box office. They still number one, but they lost a lot in regards to the box office situation. Like there was a huge dip in the second week. So we're getting into the numbers on that. Trump is going after Charlamagne the God for some God-forsaken reason because he went and did an interview on Laura Trump's show over there on Fox News, and he didn't like what he said because he wanted everybody to just be out here kissing his behind, even though he's doing a god-awful job as president 6 months in. So we got that. Plus, fans think because they saw this new Levi's jeans commercial from Miss Beyoncé that she gave a little hint about Act 3. So we'll get into that. Rihanna is apparently, speaking of getting into new acts, Rihanna is apparently readying a huge comeback after she pushes this third damn baby out. Look, she better tell ASAP to snip, because if she's talking about doing shows and releasing new music, he need to let her coochie breathe. In the words of Sexy Ray. So we got that. Plus, if y'all expecting new music from Chappell Roan, aka Chappell Roan, after she dropped the Subway over on Friday, well, y'all about to get y'all feelings hurt because y'all may have to wait years for the follow-up to her previous big successful record. Don't keep waiting too long, niece, because you know this generation is here today, gone today. So we have that. Plus, speaking of new music, Lady Gaga apparently is releasing new music for the Wednesday soundtrack. Tank is going in and letting have on the people that released that horrible ass Aaliyah song. So we're getting into that. Diddy's ex-girlfriend who went years ago on Tasha K's show saying that she got beat down to the floor by the man. Now she talking about she don't view him as a danger. She wrote a letter trying to get him out of the jail. Look, they pulling all kind. Look, for somebody who's supposed to be straight, you acting very much like a stunt queen over here. Well, I told her I was going to pull out all the stops, all the antics, all the other stuff to try to get this man out of jail, even going after one of his baby mamas and alleged victim number 3 to try to get him out of the claim. Don't let him out. But so we'll get into that. Plus, Machine Gun Kelly is revealing that he refused to audition for Sinners because they want him to say the N-word. So we'll get into that. We got to talk about And Just Like That getting canceled after 3 seasons. I wasn't here last week to talk about it, but child, it was a whole situation going on my social medias when you know that news dropped and people was in the comments talking about it. So we'll get into that. Plus, Adam Lambert is defending Cynthia Erivo for playing Jesus in the Jesus Christ Superstar musical that they just did over the weekend. And I just realized I put that post twice. Plus, we have Utica Queen. Look, we're going to get into some Project Runway news because they just aired the first 2 episodes. I'm living for the season so far. We'll get into that. And shout out to Roscoe's, who's, they ain't only just out here doing drag race, reviews. They doing Project Runway, probably because there's a drag queen on there. So we'll get into that. And rumors were going around that Evie Oddly was quitting drag. She's setting the record straight. Plus, we'll get into this Celebrity Family Feud episode that just came out over the weekend, where T.S. Madison and all of them became the first. They made history with them being the first all-trans team on Celebrity Family Feud. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. But now, before we get to those topics, if you have not already, you please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And of course, I'll be putting in timestamps at the end of the show once the live stream is done, so that way those who want to follow along with the topics at hand can do so by just going down to the description and clicking on whichever topic tickles your fancy. Please and thank you. And I see a lot of comments have been rolling in even before I went live. I saw them comments on it. We'll get into those. I need a Red Bull. I should not be drinking these. But I've been so tired after, this crazy weekend. I was like, well, I need an energy boost. I'm still tired. Like, I've been nodding off all day, even trying to put this show together. Had to run to the bank, put some quarters and stuff in. And like they have these little quarters machine where you can actually take the quarters and it goes right into your account, which is cool. And we're doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So and plus with the weather outside, that's why I'm wearing this my gym shirt, this little sleeveless hoodie that I got off Amazon for like $20. Shit, I'm frugal. I'm not gonna be out here spending $30, $40, $50 for a shirt that I'm be going to the gym and sweating in. But anyway, let me hit my banner. I see that, yeah, y'all see all the comments and all that other stuff at the bottom. We'll get into those in a second. Let me adjust the camera. And I realized even before I went live, I was like, I don't think I need the fan today because it's not so bad. When I put these lights on, as y'all see my little setup, when I took the picture and put it on the YouTube and all the other places, when you put these, and I'm like, okay, this is like when I remember when I used to be on sets and stuff. I see why they keep it cold in the studios. You literally when you have a lot of lights and stuff on you, it gets hot. And then you be out here sweating. You're going to see me melting in real time. And I'm going to be out here looking like Donald Trump and Janine Pirro. So anyway, without further ado, let me stop running my mouth. And let's get into topic number one. Let's talk about the box office. So the box office apparently was a little dry this weekend. I mean, I know they had Naked Gun and all that other stuff out. I wasn't all that enthused to see it. I'm like, that I could wait for streaming. I'm not in no hurry to see that. The movie I actually want to go to the movies to see, I'm going to see a movie Together with Dave Franco and his real life wife. But I don't know. I don't do really well in theaters with body horror. Like, I don't want to see, I don't like getting squeamish and stuff around people. I like doing that in the privacy of my own home. So, I would go see Weapons, which I actually am going to go see this weekend before I go see Together. But I'm going to wait until that comes out on like digital where you can rent it and I'll watch it that way. But anyway, so now, last week, everybody, I guess the MCU was popping bottles and they was all excited because, Fantastic Four did big and stuff at the box office. Y'all already knew from the beginning, even before the movie came out, that I wasn't really all that excited to see the movie. I was like, it looks all right. I wasn't all that jazzed about it, but I'll go see it because it's MCU. Like, I've been invested in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe since its inception. So I'm like, let me go and see this movie. It looks interesting. I love me some Pedro Pascal, so I was going to go support on that. I thought the movie was relatively good. I enjoyed it. There was some issues I had with it, and I'll get to my issues with the film once I'm done going through the whole article that Variety put out with their box office report. But nevertheless, now they're talking about because of the second week, I think they took a huge tumble at the box office. And now the MC was saying like, yeah, they're a bit worried. And I also found this article on Comic Book Movie that I'll get to later on, where they were talking about the damage. Fans don't care anymore, I guess, about the MCU and that the damage that was done to Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar. And they're putting all the blame on Disney Plus. The fact that they launched this streaming service and were trying to oversaturate themselves, and then they overwhelmed not only themselves and the animation department, the people that were doing all the special effects and all the other stuff, writers, people coming up and creating shows, they were overwhelming us as viewers. And a lot of us didn't really have the wherewithal or even felt like engaging with a lot of the shows and all these other things that they had going on over there. And to be quite honest, I'm still debating whether or not I want to get rid of Disney Plus because there's nothing on there worth watching. Like, a lot of those kids, y'all should have just did what Sony did and just outsourced your things to different channels. You should have outsourced it to Hulu. You should have outsourced some stuff specifically to Netflix, which is what Sony does. They put their stuff on Netflix for a while and then they outsource the other places. They should have did that. But no, y'all all thought y'all were going to be Netflix. You were all trying to copy and come out with your own little streaming service. And now look at you. You're out here bleeding money. So they said Marvel's first family might not save the day after all. The Fantastic Four First Steps is quickly losing steam in its second weekend, signaling the comic book adventure isn't connecting at the box office beyond the film's core demographic of superhero fans. So I said, yeah, even after those who go and see the movie, who actually is going to keep going to want to see this except the hardcore audience? And then, a lot of times when I look at a lot of these movies, I'm like, after I've seen it, I'm like, do I actually want to go see it again? Which is what I did with Superman. I saw it in Dolby because I couldn't get a ticket in IMAX and I was irritated. So then the next week, I went during the week and I found really good seats in IMAX because I'm real specific in how I want to watch movies. It got to be a center seat. It got to be on eye level, high up, or a certain point where I can look directly at the screen. I don't like sitting on the corners. I don't like none of that. I like center seat. And it was like, is this something I want to see again? And looking at Fantastic Four, while visually and everything, the movie was good. Visually, everything was great. The special effects was awesome. I love the retro futurism of, the whole, the retro futuristic, aesthetic. I'm trying to use big words and I'm getting tongue tied. but but then after like seeing all of that, I'm like, but do I want to sit through this movie again in a theater? Not really. Unless you're like what they would say a hardcore fan. And to be honest, like I told y'all before, when I looked at the trailers, it really did not pull me in. But because of my undying loyalty to the MCU, I went to go see it. So now, after a healthy $117.6 million debut, the Fantastic Four suffered a hefty 66% drop in its sophomore outing with $40 million from 4,125 theaters. Heading into the weekend, box office analysts anticipate a decline of 55% to 60% from its opening. Now, by comparison, Superman dropped by 53% in its second weekend after launching to $125 million earlier in July. This painful fall is surprising because the Marvel tentpole has the benefit of positive reviews and word of mouth, as well as a clear runway in terms of competition. Well, you also have to, I feel like you quickly have forgotten there was another movie that got the same type of feedback, that, positive reviews and word of mouth. It was a movie called Thunderbolts. The movie was good, but it just didn't register with people. I enjoyed it. I love Thunderbolts. I thought it was a really good movie. And then Kevin Feige up in there told him with his BS word salad, talking about the reason why it flopped because they were all from TV shows. And I'm like, no. Majority of the characters that were in those, that were the side characters or like the Walmart versions of other A-list superheroes, they all appeared in other movies. So one appeared in Quantumania, which was terrible. Another, who was it? Maybe Walmart Captain America. I think he might be the only one that appeared in a TV show, and that would have been what, Falcon and Winter Soldier. But all the other ones, they all appeared in movies in some capacity. So for you to sit and try to blame it on they were just some second-rate TV guy. I mean, first of all, you're the one that greenlit it. You're the big producer. So all of this stuff doesn't get past you, right? So at some point, you got to take responsibility for what you put out there and want and expect the fans to go support. You can't sit up here just like with the whole thing with Anthony Mackie. You wanted to blame the failure of Captain America: Brave New World on a bunch of other things. Oh, because Chris Evans wasn't in it. That may be part of it, but it was a movie where you didn't even center Sam Wilson in it. Like, you had him in a film where these other characters were from other situations that he had nothing to do with. Red Hulk and Betty Ross and all that, that was from Incredible Hulk. Why is he being put in this situation that ain't got nothing to do with him? You could have made this big espionage cool movie. I even reiterated before the last time we talked about this. I thought a perfect idea after the fact was something that Robert Meyer Burnett said. Shout out to him. Where he was like, maybe they could have gone more like, because like when you look at the MCU, they always take like when you look at Captain America, it feels more like a James Bond, Jason Bourne type of spy thriller. I kind of like that whole espionage spy angle that they took. But when you look at this film, y'all could have did it more like a buddy comedy, similar to like a Lethal Weapon. If y'all would have took more of that direction and just had like Falcon and Winter Soldier in a buddy comedy, not saying it had to be ha-ha funny, but the balance of a Lethal Weapon movie. There's the action, and then they have the little one-liner banter and stuff between each other. And I feel like, tonally, that would have worked for this movie. Instead, you were sitting there having like all these different plot points, and I'm like, what is this movie about? And then you revealed Red Hulk too damn early. Meaning when I say too early, I meant in the trailers. Y'all put all of the Red Hulk stuff, which he basically shows up in the third act, throughout the trailer. So I'm like, well, where's the element of surprise? There isn't one. And So they also went on to say, although the ticket sales were enough to rank as #1 on North American charts, the first steps endured one of the steeper second week drops for Disney MCU, better than the Marvels, down 78%. But in the company of February's Captain America Brave New World, down 68%. 2023's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, down 70%. And 2022's Thor, Love and Thunder, down 67%. And it's funny how y'all named a bunch of movies that were just not good. Marvels was all right. I didn't mind that one too much. That was a much better movie than I thought it would be based off of what everybody was saying. Now I can sit and now Marvels, even though it's not perfect, that is something I could put on and rewatch. That musical sequence, y'all can get rid of that. But other than that, it was, in my opinion, I felt like it was a relatively solid movie. What hurt that one was the fact that you had all these characters from different situations. Like, a lot of people didn't watch Miss Marvel, so a lot of people weren't familiar with who Kamala Khan was, or Kamala Khan. A lot of people weren't familiar with Monica Rambeau. Monica came from what the hell is that damn show? The one with I don't know why I'm saying Agatha all along in my damn brain, and it's not that damn show. It's the one with Scarlet Witch. That show. Unless you watch that show, nobody knew who that was, or where she was from, or what she had to be a part of. And we already know who Miss Marvel was, but who Captain Marvel was. But you brought all these other people in that movie. It wasn't really a Captain Marvel movie. Captain America Brave New World, we don't need to go through how I felt about that. I already said it. Ant-Man and the Wasp was just god-awful. I told y'all, I gave that movie about 25 to 30 minutes. After that, I tuned out. It was background noise, and I went to working on my laptop while it was on, because that movie was just god-awful. Now, so far, Fantastic Four has generated $198 million domestically and $368 million globally. Luckily for Marvel, whose output has been wildly inconsistent in post-pandemic times, the first steps is pacing to outgross this year's prior theatrical disappointments of Captain America Brave New World, which so far has grossed $415 million globally, and Thunderbolts, which has brought in $382 million globally. The final tally for Fantastic Four won't be disastrous, a la the Marvels, $206 million, or Thunderbolts, but is not yet a return to box office glory for Marvel. However, the MCU should officially regain its box office stride with its next 3 films. But yeah, you have to wait until next year for that to happen. And Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is currently, I believe, filming in Scotland, because I saw what the hell's his name? Tom Holland on set. He came over, started high-fiving and saying hi to everybody in his costume. And I see why. I don't think I've heard people talking about this, but I totally see why a lot of people are why they put out the teaser of the costume. I know why they leaked it. And I think it's because they knew that they were going to be I think they knew at some point that there was going to be outdoor shoots. And what they wanted to do was, hold on, because I got distracted. I was looking up something. But anyway, so I think they wanted to put it out there and let y'all see what everything looked like before some random Joe Schmo went and took a picture and posted it online, and then it looks terrible. And then y'all, because you know how y'all are, y'all be the main ones up in there and talking about, oh, the costume looks terrible. Oh, I don't like how it looks. You know, it's always some goddamn complaint. And I don't think they wanted to deal with that. So instead of, allowing y'all to just sit up here and have control of the narrative, they were just like, Kevin Feige, I guess, and then was like, okay, let's just put the pictures out there, let people see what the costume looks like, because we're gonna have to do a couple of shoots. It's the same thing like I saw with what the hell's his name? I just saw like there was pictures of John Bernthal shooting scenes for the new Punisher series, which I'm wondering if he shot, when does he actually shoot his stuff with Spider-Man? I'm guessing they're going to bring that in later, or maybe they were filming it simultaneously, because I know he's been filming his stuff now, and I heard, word on the curb, Manucci, I think is how you say her name, Manucci, or Nucci, is being played by Judith Light. If that is true, I'm loving that, because I love me some Judith Light. And I feel like a lot of people do not give her the credit. She's more than just Angela Bauer from Who's the Boss. Like, she has definitely put down put it down as an actor, especially because she's a theater actor. You know, she's a New York veteran. She's a stage performer. You know, them stage performers, they definitely, if you put them in the right role, they'll definitely turn it out. So now it says 3 new movies open nationwide. Now, I don't want to. Oh, so what was it? So now they're saying that they came out with The Bad Guys 2, which came out with 22.8 million, and then they said that it landed at 16.3 million for a global start of 44.5 million, which is saying is pretty good. Then we have The Naked Gun, which debuted at 17 million from 3,344 theaters, right in line with projections. It also earned another 11.5 million at the international box office, which brings its total global tally to 28.5 million. And the budget so far is $42 million. So in a couple of weeks, I feel like Naked Gun will make its money back. I don't know what the marketing is on it, but we'll see. But so far, Naked Gun, I've been hearing good things about it. But like I said, it's not something I want to rush to the movies to see. Now, one of the movies I do want to see is the neon body horror film Together, which landed in 6th place with 6.8 million over a traditional weekend and an encouraging 10.8 million during its first 5 days of release. Now, real life husband and wife Dave Franco and Allison Brie star in Together. Wait, isn't Allison Brie also playing Evil Lynn in the new Masters of the Universe movie? So I think she's also in that. I'm looking forward to seeing her in that. I think if I'm not mistaken, she is in that. But they said the film got a C+ score on Cinema Score, though that harsh grade isn't surprising since they likely left the theater feeling very disturbed. Because I'm saying, like, based off of the subject matter and stuff, so I think that people are a little grossed out about it. So that's probably why it's getting the lukewarm audience score that it's getting. But I still want to see it. But I told you, like, some body horror stuff, I like to wait until I'm in the confines of my house, so that way if I need to walk away, be like, I need to pause this for a second, then and then gather myself and then come back. Because yeah, when it comes to like real body stuff with things that can actually protrude from your, I'm like, I'm grossed out by it. I can sit and watch people get gutted all damn day, intestines coming out, getting stabbed up by a serial. Like I can watch all that crazy horror all night long. I can watch a slasher till the cows come home. But when it comes to like things where it's like your nail is coming off and your skin is like, or pus, I'm like, nope, hell no. So. And then, of course, one of the worst movies of the summer, Jurassic World Rebirth, rounded out the top 5 with 8.4 million in its 5th weekend of release. So far, globally, it has acquired 766 million. Now, let's get to what I feel that could have probably helped Fantastic Four perform better at the box office, because I told y'all that I had my issues with it. Even though it was a relatively good movie, it's a solid film, there were problems I had with it. Now, I felt like Fantastic Four should have came out in November of this year instead of July. And the reason why I say this, same thing I think I was having a conversation with a friend of the show, Robert, about I Know What You Did Last Summer. Y'all dropped that in the summer as well. Even though that movie is doing relatively solid at the box office, it's a small budget. It made its money back and all that other stuff. I don't know what the marketing on I Know What You Did Last Summer is, but it's already made back its money. So it's a success. And people all, and the fact that some people think that in order for a slasher film that on a small budget has to gross $100 million to be successful, I'm like, no, not necessarily. There's only a handful of films that have been successful in that way. That would be the Scream franchise, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if all of them did it, but I know the 2018 Halloween did relatively well also. So where it grossed, I think, in the ballpark of almost 100 million or over 100 million. I don't have the exact box office tally in front of me, but I do believe it grossed close to 100 million. I could be wrong and it may have went over, but I'm just going to keep it mild for my own mental. so yeah, I said it should have came out in November of this year instead of July. Now, summer, it was already stacked. We had Jurassic World Rebirth. Regardless of how I feel about the movie, it made a ton of money. People are enjoying it, whatever the case is. I personally hated the film. It was just really taking me out of a lot of situations where I'm like, logically, this makes no sense, and it's bothering me. And so it was only but so much you could ask of me to suspend my disbelief. So when that movie came out, I was like, whatever. But it's made a ton of money. And then Superman came out 2 weeks later. And then 2 weeks later, we had Fantastic Four. Like, that's overwhelming on the consumer's wallet. Especially, it's like, I mean, if you have A-list, you get to, you get perks and all that other stuff, but not everybody has the wherewithal or the time to be like, every 2 weeks, I got to go spend money to see this movie. And not only is the movies expensive, concessions are expensive as well. So I feel like that may have hurt it. Then also, I feel like, maybe while a lot of people weren't that excited for Fantastic Four, because, it could have been that there were films in the past where I felt like the movies have never been like these big blockbuster grabbers. Like, it's never been like a big blockbuster movie. Yeah, the ones back in the day with Jessica Alba and Ian Griffith, and I did see that he made comments about the Fantastic Four movies where he was like, oh, we're supposed to make a third one, but it never happened because, and I think it's probably because the movies financially weren't beneficial. Maybe that was the reason why they never, 20th Century Fox at the time didn't make a third one. They were okay. And then we had the one with Michael B. Jordan, which was not good. And then then they should have let the montage in the beginning breathe more, which was like, when we got to see the Fantastic Four in their element, how they became in their home on their own little separate earth. So when we're seeing scenes with the Red Ghost, the Mad Thinker, Puppet Master, Diablo, all these people, like, you could have let that scene breathe more. It was just too cut up. And I think that was also a problem with this movie. It was heavily edited. You could definitely tell there was a lot more scenes that were in this film, but I don't know, for some reason, due to time constraints or whatever the case was, they just like trimmed so much fat off the movie that it's like scenes weren't allowed to breathe at times. Now, and I've told y'all this before, but I'm gonna reiterate it again. I wanted more ball breaking between Johnny and Ben. I felt like they were kind of like the funny points of the film. And I would have loved to have seen Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm kind of ranking on each other, going at it, like the jokes and all that stuff. I liked the banter between them, and I wanted more of that. And I felt like we didn't get enough of that. I also felt like Ben was vehemently underused in this movie, even down to like the third act when we get to some of the action stuff. There wasn't enough action in the movie for me either. And I felt like we should have seen more of them using their powers, and not just the Invisible Woman gets to have her big moment up against Galactus. I wanted to see more of Mr. Fantastic stretching besides reaching across the room for something to bring back over and using his powers for that. No, you should have been using a lot more of that when you was in the third act or in other sequences of the movie, not just to go reach across the room to get something from one spot. So I felt like we were cheated in a lot of ways of seeing them in action. Don't have me sitting there and be like, I'll have to wait until the next not even Fantastic Four, Doomsday. Like, shouldn't have to wait till Doomsday to see you in your element. Let me see you in your element when you're in the movie that I'm paying $30 via IMAX to see. I want to see all of that in that movie, because you don't know financially if you're going to get a second chance to, show it off based off the box office. So then I said, oh yeah, I did do the more creative displays of Reed's stretch powers. So that was one of mine. And then, yeah, and then, as I said, more action sequences with Ben. The beard did look a little funky. And I already told her there were some parts with the special effects was a little rough, especially like the scene when they're in the vehicle and it kind of it kind of like skids, like, when it comes to a halt, I should say, screeches to a halt into the camera, like comes into the frame of the camera, and that's when we first meet Charlamagne. That there was that effect. Just, I was like, oh no, you could tell that was just rough. That was a rough landing. Not necessarily for the vehicle, but for how they did the effect. It wasn't smooth. It wasn't clean. So we're just a little nitpicking. And it's like, when you're somebody who's gone to film school and had to spend hours editing and do other stuff, like, you start noticing the minutest of details. And when I'm sitting there watching that on a big screen and it's noticeable, it just takes me out of the film at times. So I had that. Then it was it's clobbering time. I wanted him to actually say that, but he was kind of like, oh no, it's just in the comment. It's in the cartoon. I don't really say it. It's like, no, I need you to say it in the movie. It'd be funny. I don't even think, did Johnny even say flame on in the movie? I don't even remember if he did. I think I may have heard it once, like in in the montage scene, you heard him say flame on, but I think that was it. But we should have had that, because look, we always look forward to it when Chris Evans said it, even when they used it as a little joke in Deadpool and Wolverine. I like when he came in and said flame on. I also thought that while Galactus was a pretty menacing villain, I wanted more scenes with him. And we didn't get enough of that. And I also wanted a few more family scenes. I don't think that the film slowed down enough to let certain scenes breathe. It's like, I don't mind if more, because I don't even think the movie was 2.5 hours. I think it was like under, like maybe just hitting the 2 hour mark. I don't mind if a film is 2.5 hours, as long as, the chemistry between the characters is good, the dialogue is compelling, and the action the action is rewind worthy once it's released on digital. Like, if the action scenes are really cool, I want to be able to be like, when I buy the film, that I want to go back and rewatch that scene over and over. And oh my God, I love that scene. I want to rewind it back and watch it. Like, I always have to have that feeling. If it's not rewind worthy, then it's like, I don't care. And I feel like that's why, in my opinion, it's suffering at the box office. Now, before I wrap up this story, I do want to get to this other story that I had found over on, what was it? Comic Book Movie. So shout out to them, because they said that there was a new report that detailed the damage done to Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar is by Disney Plus. It's saying that the people don't even care no more about, and that's probably why financially they're suffering at the box office. So last month, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige talked candidly about how Disney Plus has devalued the MCU brand. Excuse me, as he put it, he said, quote, "It was just too much. It was a big company push, and it doesn't take too much to push us to go. There was a mandate that we were put in the middle of." Now, Disney wanted more content for its newly launched streaming platform, and Marvel Studios jumped at the chance to finally bring characters like Moon Knight and She-Hulk to our screen. The only problem was, whoever wrote those shows, She-Hulk was not good at all. Y'all were trying to make it like some Ally McBeal type of thing, and it was just dumb. And then Moon Knight, I like the idea of the whole mental situation that he was going through. I love Oscar Isaac. It was just the writing and the direction of the show it just didn't resonate with me. Didn't care about Loki. The Captain America and Falcon Winter Soldier show was okay. Scarlet Witch, I enjoyed it, but for the most part. Now, this says that things started well, but interest has waned in both the studio's movies and TV shows. That's led to fewer ticket sales, and according to the Wrap, a loss of 700,000 subscribers for Disney Plus in the first quarter of 2025. Probably because they're feeling like I'm feeling, but like a dummy. I'm just holding on and expecting something better to come along. Because it's like, people are looking at it like, there's nothing on Disney Plus worth watching, so why keep it? And then when y'all do put projects on outside of Andor season 2, all these other shows is lackluster. Nobody cared about Ironheart. Nobody cared about all the other shows that was coming on. I didn't even know that The Eyes of Wakanda came out. Like, y'all didn't even promote that until I happened to just I don't know where I was. Oh, I was on YouTube and I saw like the trailer or whatever. And then I saw a couple of the pundits that I watched doing like, oh, The Eyes of Wakanda, what was it? They were doing reviews. Like little reviews of the episodes. I'm like, when did this come out? So the lack of promotion on a lot of y'all projects too. Who y'all trying to be, Netflix? I mean, bad enough you're trying to steal their whole idea of trying to create your own little app, but now you're trying to steal their lack of promotion because they promote by not promoting, depending on what the show is. So then also they went to say that this comes from a piece exploring what Disney streaming expansion has done to Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar, with one producer and franchise experience telling the trade, given the quality of the Marvel Disney Plus output has been incredibly mediocre. It's dragged the entire brand down and diluted its creative. People don't care now. Another marketing executive noted, when you went to a Star Wars movie, it used to be special. That is true. But there's a difference between let's have a movie every 4 years versus let's have 3 shows on the air all the time and have a movie every year. Because what you're doing is, like I said, you're exhausting and you're wearing out your audience. You're overwhelming your audience. So it's like, well, why the hell do I need to go to movies when I could just watch the TV shows on streaming, and then I could just wait the 45 days, which I think that 45-day window thing, as much as I look forward to these movies coming out quick, it doesn't help financially in the theater. So I think y'all need to kind of squash that and maybe just make people wait 2 to 3 months for the movie to come out, not the 45-day. That was something we needed during the whole COVID situation. I mean, people still getting COVID. Surprising, because Josh Gad, I heard, just got COVID. Tested positive for COVID. And that's why he couldn't do that Jesus Christ Superstar musical that was just over the weekend, and they had to have John Stamos step in to be his, I guess he'd be the understudy. But yeah, it was like people still out here getting COVID. So now Lucasfilm, they said, appears to have learned from that, at least, because aside from Ahsoka Season 2, there are no other Star Wars TV shows on the way, but we do have the Mandalorian Grogu movie that I believe is coming out next year in the theater. Now, back to Marvel, Dave Gonzalez, the author of MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, shared, I do think that it has eroded the branding. All the sub-brands have been eroded. They were finally getting to do what they wanted to do, put everything in development. Marvel remade how they made franchise movies, but they thought they could do the same thing with television, and you can. They think they're more nimble than they actually are. He later explained that by making TV shows like movies, series such as WandaVision were costing hundreds of millions of dollars. Pixar, they said, has suffered most, but even with a handful of live-action Disney movies like Lady and the Tramp and Pinocchio premiering on Disney+, Walt Disney Studios and Disney Animation have remained largely unaffected. Helping matters, of course, is that those brands have not been as heavily pushed on people across Disney over the past 6 years since Disney Plus launched. And I think that also, to go back to the thing where they said that they remade how they make franchise movies, and then you thought you could do the same thing with TV. It's like, no, you can't. TV and movies are two different entities. You cannot take the same mentality that you do with a television show that you do with a movie. With a movie, you have a director, an assistant AD, you have all the people that work on that specific movie. When you have a TV show, you have to have a showrunner, you have to have a writer's room, and you have to have somebody who is hurting the ship and to figure out, okay, what is it that we're going to tell regarding this story, the characters, the beginning, the middle, the end, how many episodes you're going to be able to have to tell this story in. And they need to squash this whole 6-episode thing, because you cannot tell a compelling story with 6 episodes. Because a lot of times I feel like y'all drag it out for the first 4, and then y'all try to rush and wrap everything in the last 2 episodes. And then it feels anticlimactic. So that's always been another issue that I've had with Disney Plus stuff. And I think that is one of the reasons, as a fan of this, why I don't particularly look forward to a lot of the Disney shows. And maybe what happens is, 700,000, is that bad? Depending on how many people actually are subscribers to Disney Plus, I'd be curious to know that. And I already have the bundle with them. Like, I do Disney, Hulu, and HBO Max, so I have that little bundle in regards to that. So that's probably another reason why I'm keeping it. But yeah, so that's basically the story that came over from Comic Book Movie on what's going on with the MCU and all that other stuff. Oh, I didn't want to do that. And all that other stuff. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from you. I know that was a long damn video, but I wanted to, story. But I wanted to bring all of that to y'all, break it on down with the whole box office report, plus this whole story that's circulating in regards of why, the MCU is hurting right now in Disney Plus. So I ask all of you in regards to, have you seen Fantastic Four? What did you think of it? What do you think do you think the movie was perfect in every way, like Mary Poppins? Did you think that some things would have made, if they added certain things in the movie that I missed, would have made it better? And do you agree with the assessment on the whole Disney Plus situation? I know it's a lot to ask, but comic book nerd like me, I definitely love to hear from y'all. So let me know what you got, or a comic book movie nerd, since that's what we're focusing on right now. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Speaking of comments, we got so many. I got about 30. Hold on now. Onyx is in the building. Hold on, let me take a swig of this good old Red Bull. It's an Honest, dropped an unpopular opinions video you and your friends to the show might like. Madonna is a disrespected legend, and it's partially her fault. And Janet should have been. Actually, funny enough, I did see that before I went live. So while I was putting together the last minute touches on the show, I actually did watch it. I had it on while I was talking about it. Funny enough, they were talking about Ice Spice that the reason why her career is flopping because she's a woman. I'm like, no, she's flopping because she's trash and the music is garbage. Talking about some damn fart music. I'm like, girl, please. And not only that, the thing that they said about Madonna, I kind of agree with. I do feel like the stuff with her and the surgeries, first of all, with all the money in the world you got, you could have found you a good damn doctor to be like, not have you out here looking like a damn blowfish with all that damn filler you was putting in your face. And then the antics that she was doing, but it could have been because she was fighting so hard against the ageism and stuff going on in the music industry and the people online that she felt, oh, I need to do all this over the top stuff. But I'm like, but it's making you look crazy. It's making you look desperate. It's making you, all those other things. So I was agreeing with them on some of that, but I do agree that, yeah, she is one of the most disrespected legends because I don't really believe that people know how influential she has been on a lot of artists. I actually had to block a bitch on social media yesterday because he was coming, and I knew that based off of a comment he wrote under someone else's thing, it was rooted in racism because he was sitting up there like, if you love Beyonce, love on Beyonce, be a member of the Beehive, all that other stuff. But when you come up in there, I'm gonna listen to my black artist and she sing better than Madonna, and I'm like, but the blueprint that Madonna set for a lot of your faves, including Beyonce, to follow, she was showing like the homage and the respect and all other stuff. So for you to sit there and disrespect someone who has had a longer career than Beyonce to prop up your girl, I was like, we're not dealing with that. And the only time you like to jump in my damn comments is with a negative comment anyway. So now you ain't gonna be able to go argue with your mammy, is what I say. And I'm not one of those that is like, I don't allow differences of opinion. Like if you say anything that I don't agree with, I'm gonna block you because that's the BS. Like there's plenty of people that y'all have seen in the comments that come on my stuff and say things and they still not blocked. It's just this one, he worked my root canal nerve. So I was like, bye queen. But the Janet and being unapologetic in '04, I disagree with that too. Because I'm like, first of all, you must have not been around or been aware of what it was like being Janet Jackson as a black pop star in 2004 when Nipplegate happened. And to say that she should have just been like, F y'all and be unapologetic. She's not a white woman. If it would have happened, and now if Justin Timberlake would have did that to Madonna, it would have been a different story because they would have went in on Madonna, but not, it would have just been rooted in misogyny. It would have been rooted in misogyny and racism. Because then Madonna would have came unscathed in that because Madonna has always kind of pushed the boundaries of sex and things. And yeah, Janet was doing her little, she was dipping her toe in that whole thing with the Janet era and Velvet Rope and all that other stuff. But she couldn't have been unapologetic about it, especially when you had the powers that be like that were Viacom and Les Moonves nasty behind, disgrace behind, doing when it came out the stuff he was doing. And then he ended up, without a job, and they got rid of him over the things he was doing. No, ma'am. How you doing, sissy? And I ain't talking about Houston. Cleveland's in the building. Yes, Chismosa, how are you? It's getting a C score, but critics and analysts said that's expected as body horrors always. Yeah, and it is a required taste for me to watch body horror stuff. Like even with David Cronenberg, like I'm a huge David Cronenberg fan, but his movies are like an acquired taste. But I will point this out. He does body horror, but it's not just body horror for the sake of just being gross. There's always like some real social commentary that comes in with his work, which is why I like it. Well, I do think like my Palestine stuff has been getting like low numbers on TikTok. Let me check. Because I did post something on there. But yeah, my drag race stuff, when I post all kinds of other videos on there. Yeah, my Christian tape video, it got like 11 views. So yeah, it's like certain ones I noticed they do suppress some of the things that's on there. But when I talk about like drag race, and I always notice like when it comes to the homosexual stuff on here or the drag race stuff, numbers go through the roof. Like even when I looked at my YouTube analytics yesterday, like they were saying like normally how many I bring in, like I bring over at least 20 to 30,000 views and stuff this month. I mean, I think it was, this month so far it's been really low. And it could be because it's the beginning of the month. So, and also I haven't really been streaming as much because I've been busy. So it was like 18. I'm like, Jesus, I got to step my foot up. But yeah, I see it. But you talk about the idea for pro-Palestine. Look, I just heard it officially became, well, it became official today. They're making moves to occupy Gaza, and the West Bank is going to be next. I mean, like, duh, we've been said that was the plan. Oh, that's not happening. Where you're saying that they need to go away for a decade, that's not happening. As long as as long as Kevin Feige and the MCU and all of them, they have access to all these IPs, they're going to continue to make these movies. I do wonder, and I forgot to bring that up in the other thing because it was so much I had to say regarding the whole Fantastic Four thing. I think this is going to affect the thing down the road. Like, I feel like this also is a desperate move on Marvel's part because then it's like, oh, y'all got Robert Downey Jr. Y'all was so desperate because y'all lack a leader for this whole MCU situation that y'all had to go back the Brinks truck up to bring Robert Downey Jr. to come in to play Doctor Doom. So it just feels, and I've always felt that it reeked of desperation by bringing him back. And so they really are putting the pressure on this movie. And I'm hoping that Spider-Man is good. I mean, I liked all the Tom Holland Spider-Man so far, but I hope it's good. Honestly, ever since they introduced the multi-universe, I stopped caring. They need to stop. I'm hoping they get rid of the multiverse. That's why I like when I was talking to my coworkers yesterday, one of them was like, oh, he wanted to go see Fantastic Four. His girlfriend was like, absolutely not. And she was like, don't I have to? And then she was like, I guess he was just like wondering why or whatever the case. And I asked him, I was like, why? And I guess she felt like, oh, we need to see all the other ones to know what's going on. But I was like, no, you don't have to watch all the previous. First of all, this is like the first Fantastic Four in the MCU. All the other ones was like previous Fantastic Fours under different management. That was back when 20th Century was 20th Century Fox, not 20th Century Studios. And so when when they had those movies, it was under a completely different thing. So it's not attached to this. And when you watch this movie, it's its own thing. You don't have to, it's not attached to anything. So yeah, when we talk about the multiverse and complications and things, Marvel has heard us on that. But now it's like, I feel like with the next couple of movies, they're going to have to work really hard on trying to regain the trust of the audience and the fans because people are just going to be like, I feel like they took us for granted. They took their fan base for granted. They thought, oh, we got it online. It's like, no, you don't. We showed you with our wallet, and now they hurting. Even though the movies are still successful, they're not as successful. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if, like, you know what, the days of the MCU accumulating $1 billion at the box office is over. I would not be surprised if it's the end of, that era. He said Disney oversaturated with the extra shows, also launching it too close to Superman. Yeah, and that was another thing. It's like that y'all should have let it breathe. You should have put it in November. November was, I believe, didn't they say Blade was supposed to come out this year? If they would have acted, that movie we still waiting. Blade was about. Oh, speaking of which, shout out to Jeff Snyder. He revealed that February 2028 is when the next Black Panther is coming out. So we'll see. I think there's an interest campaign, an internet campaign that seems to push a Pedro Pascal backlash. It seems because he's the man that, not only that, but also there's been things ever since he's been coming out being pro-Palestine and anti-Israel in a lot of what they've been doing, that they feel like, oh, now everybody's coming at him. They're saying he's gay. He's being inappropriate with his co-star Vanessa Kirby, when he has admitted in interviews that he suffers from anxiety. So when he gets nervous in a lot of different places, if you come up and like if you touch him in his face or whatever the case is, it relaxes him. So it's a coping mechanism in a way. And people just don't understand how, especially if you're an artist or you're an actor, you're pretty sensitive. Like, actors are very sensitive. So they was feeling away, and they just been out here trying to go in on it. But I guess you haven't made it until society starts hating on you, and he's made it. I think. Thanks to the Triple J controversy. You talking about Veronica's again? Like I said, also I felt like I needed to watch the early movies because I knew they were all gonna fight Thanos without a. Well, yeah, all those films were connected, but I felt like after Phase 3, they should have started doing like individual movies. Why are you still trying to keep the connection tissue situation? And also, where is Shang-Chi too? Why are we still waiting for that movie? Y'all got Simu Liu showing up possibly in Doomsday. Y'all should have had you should have had him up in there. Not Lena Morgana. He said, and I know what you did last summer is a sleeper hit. Many horror fans even said the original last summer was lucky because of Scream. Well, yeah, Scream came out first. And technically, I know what you did last summer was written first, but he couldn't sell that script. He sold Scream though, and because Scream, which was called Scary Movie at first, was sold. Then because of the success of Scream, then they were looking. Okay, so what else you got? Then came out with I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then Kevin Williamson was that go-to horror movie writer that you could, and shout out to Shudder because Shudder got Urban Legend on their streaming service, and I love that movie. They got Urban Legend and the second one, Final Cut, I think is what it's called, with Anthony Anderson is in it and Joey Lawrence. That wasn't a good movie, but it's on there. Is like I said, if in non-horror fans because of the story, not the actual slasher, but like a soap opera. Well, it wasn't even. I don't know. I just feel like I know the last time was trying to be Scream, but it was like the way that film was structured, it was never to be like Scream. I mean, it was someone that they hit by accident, and then the person, that y'all know the whole story. It's just like the whole thing. I'm trying to make Julie have this big traumatic thing. It's like it's not like you're Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers was coming at you. It's like she had every right to have. I mean, Julie should have her trauma, but it just didn't fit in with what they were trying to do with the movie. But Jamie Lee Curtis character, Laurie Strode, was like, yeah, we get her trauma because Michael Myers just looked at her and her baby and her friends. It was just like, one day in 1978, he was like, okay, you like the perfect girl. I want to go after and kill. I'm gonna kill you and your friends, just because I feel like it. And to me, that just brings up the trauma more. Not that dumb. Oh, he's my brother. Please, we don't know why John Carpenter came up with that whole angle. He said he was just drunk one night and just came up with it. I don't know if people are tired of Sydney's story. Cause it's like, yeah, I feel like this will be something that can follow her for the rest of her life. It's like someone's always going to be affected by the aftermath of whatever happens in Sydney's life. So who knows? Look, I've always said, as long as they got a story to tell and it's interesting, I'm here for it. But once it comes to a point where Sydney's story is just, you know, once you feel like there's nothing left for her to go through, then we can move on. But I do feel like generational stuff, trauma, copycats, people finding out in a way, and especially because she's infamous. Her character is infamous. And these days with these kids with these damn, true crime podcasts and all this other stuff, there's new resurgence of people being obsessed with Ed Gein and all kinds of other crazy serial killers. It makes sense why they would kind of go through that. And then her having children and them trying to navigate through this world of whatever their mother went through when she was coming up, similar to Sydney having to suffer due to whatever her mother Maureen was going through. It makes sense why they would keep her story going. But, people just like, I'm just trying to know, we picking up Sydney. Sydney hasn't really headlined a Scream movie since the second one? Because the third one was like she was I was gonna say a call girl. I mean, she was working on the line when she was talking to people doing one of those call girls, not a prostitute, but the other kind of call girl. So, and then Scream 4, she was visiting family and promoting a book. So it wasn't really centered around her. Then we already know the mess that was 5 and 6. So 7 is like the first Sydney-centered Scream movie, in my opinion, since Scream 2, because Scream 1 was centered around her. Scream 2 was when she was in college, so that centers around her. So that makes sense. Mm-mm. Not He lost his virginity to the Spice Girls. You want to know something? No shade. Even though I know James Franco hates my guts because it was an article I wrote on him. Oh, well, he knows me. And it went crazy viral on social media. I've always thought that Dave Franco was the better actor. Denise had the cops called on by her ex, and God damn it. And you know what? I was actually going to bring up a Denise Richards story tomorrow. But y'all look like it's time to bring up some tea now. Hold on. Let me find out Denise Richards is in the jail. What is this Lady Gaga picture? Wait, I don't see nothing on no Denise Richards. Do I need to Google her? Oh, hold on. Let me see. Oh, luckily I got Google open. It's like, and funny enough, she's actually filming the damn, this was 2 hours ago. Oh, yeah, because now I'm seeing some story about she showed up at Aaron Pfeiffer's home, claims he put down her dog as cops called amid restraining order. Well, you know, I'll save that for tomorrow. We got way too much tea to get to. We only did one topic, and we're damn near an hour into the show. So it's gonna be a long one. But so I'll save that for tomorrow. And so I can have all the full story with that, plus the story I wanted to tell before, and then talking about her filming The Real Housewives because they saw her and said she was shooting with Sutton. I think she was also shooting scenes with Erica. So this might be look. All of this is good grist for the mill for the next season. What is it? Season 15? If all this is going down, child, let me tell you, y'all better give Denise her diamond back. So, okay, let me hurry up and get through these comments so we can get to. Yeah, okay. Who said we don't care about that lady? You said no. Also, more is coming out from the Mayhem Ball shade because that tour isn't getting pressed like Kesha and Katy Perry was. I mean, I did see some. I did see some comments regarding the Mayhem Ball. Like I saw Variety did a review. They said it's a good show. Well, I'll let y'all know when I work it in like 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks? What's today? The 4th? Yeah, it is 2 weeks. So after this week, there's like really nothing going on at the garden. There is stuff going on in my other job. The 14th, I'm doing Katy Perry. Oh wait, I'm looking at. I have child. Forgive me. I haven't even changed over my damn calendar to August. So I can't even tell you what the thing is. But yeah, I'm doing the Katy Perry show, which I told her somebody wanted to trade with me. I was like, I'm not doing 4 Lady Gaga shows. But if you want to put me on for the next one in September, I don't mind doing that, but not in 1 month. I'll do the Katy Perry just so I can give y'all a full on review and compile all the stuff that we did last, with all the other Katy Perry shady stuff, and then I give my full opinion on what the show was like. So well, you said 159.3 million in the U.S. and 100 million in other territories for how? Oh, okay. Look at you doing the work. Thank y'all. I live for y'all. Y'all be coming up in here, and just give me the numbers. So it was. Oh, so it made 159 million dollars in the U.S. alone. I said it was going to be around 100 million dollars. It might be over. And a $10 million budget. Yeah, and they're always relatively cheap. I forget. Did Blumhouse? Blumhouse, I think, produced it. That's why it was cheap. He said, yo, my Wiccas. He said lack of action scenes and lack of beef. Not beefcake. Yeah, them costumes were just, okay, whatever. It's been 10 plus, 10 plus what? It said, give me a beefy gay cat. Oh, you say it's been 10. Are you saying it's been 10 plus years? Weren't they supposed to be doing a Hercules movie? What happened with that? It's honestly the Disney got too greedy and too restrictive, which is ironic given that they have the resources. I haven't seen K-pop Demon Hunters yet, even though I have Netflix. I've been hearing conflicting reviews on it, but I will give it a spin. I think Netflix and Hulu was all that people wanted. Yeah, Hulu works in Netflix. I watch those two more than any other streaming service, so I honestly don't think we need it anymore. They could have just outsourced all their stuff, which is what some of them do anyway. Like, what's the point of Paramount Plus? Excuse me, if I've even seen some of your shows like Fire Country and I think that's the name of the show. Because now they got a new show coming on with Morena Baccarin, which is the police version. So they got that show. I've seen SWAT. I've seen all the other CBS shows and even Equalizer on Netflix. And then they took it off. So I don't understand the point of. He said they have become a shell of themselves. They aren't taking risk anymore for compelling storytelling, nor give the studios enough creative freedom. Oh, 124.6. So 700,000, I guess they feel like, oh, that's like a drop in the bucket. That's nothing. They were also comparing Bruno to, oh, yeah, I saw that foolishness. I was like, first of all, how dare you? You're going to sit up and have the absolute unlitigated gall to compare Bruno Mars, of all people, to some damn Michael Jackson. He wishes. Bruno ain't nothing. Bruno is to pop music what Drake is to hip hop. You are nothing but a colonizer. It's like, no. Number one, you. I mean, don't get me wrong. Bruno could sing. Bruno's a great performer. He's a good songwriter. All the other stuff, but you're doing nothing innovative. What you do on what I've seen Bruno do, I've seen Benny King, Nat King Cole. I've seen James Brown. Like I've seen all of them do that. So you're not bringing anything new or different to the musical landscape. You're basically regurgitating what has already been done. So if you think that's innovative, then I think y'all need to look up what the actual word innovation means. Yeah, that's what I said. Madonna's face looks fine. She's been concentrating, I guess now that she's gotten all that foolishness out of her damn system, she's focusing on the music and things. Maybe it was that death scare that scared her or whipped her into shape. I do agree that her acting a fool with Jimmy Fallon plays. It's like when she went on, I can't take Jimmy Fallon. He irritates me. But I was like, even with that kiss ass interview, I was like, that even took me out. Tori even debunked Beyonce as huge as MJ. He said, I forgive you, you weren't there, but he aged himself saying I was there when Thriller happened. Tori is a man of a certain age. I wasn't there when Thriller happened. I don't remember the cultural impact. I know it based off of people telling me. But I am of the era of the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Beyonce, Britney Spears, Pink. Like that's Usher. That's my generation of music. Aaliyah, which we're gonna get into her later on. So Michael Jackson, it was like I was aware of him as a kid, just like I was aware of Madonna when I was little. But I became more into her stuff as I got older because when I was old enough to be able to buy music and all the other stuff was during the bedtime stories era, which was like 94. That's when I became more into stuff. The sex stuff, all other stuff, like that was before my that was before I was like able to be before I was old enough to understand what the hell was going on in there. I just knew I liked that Justify My Love music video, and I wasn't supposed to be up at midnight watching it on MTV, but I was. And he said, Janet couldn't have done anything before more. Exactly. That's why I said she couldn't have done anything back in those days. And that's why I feel like people don't understand that whole time. No, nobody's ever going to match those sales. Like Michael Jackson's Thriller, didn't that sell like 30 million copies worldwide? I don't think anybody's ever beat that number. Madison Square Garden is more important. I even tell people when summer is over, it's back to 3 to 4 shows weekly. Summer is his busiest season. Oh, please. And now I feel like it might be, well, who knows? It might be a lot busy because, preseason for the Rangers begins actually at the end of this month into September. The season officially begins in September. Then we have October is when the season of the Knicks starts, but then preseason starts in late September. So sports is going to start back up. There'll be some concerts because Dula Peep supposed to be doing 4 nights. I don't even know how she's going to be able to sell those out. Do people even be feeling Dula Peep like that right now? Like, she's all into her man more than into her music, quiet as it's kept. So I don't even know many people that are really into Dula Peep. Like, is she? Do people care enough to want to see her for 4 nights? Can she even sell out 4 nights? I don't know, but we'll see. When it comes to Madonna and IG, I feel a lot of it. She was bored. Yeah. And that's probably why she was doing all that mess on social media and it was backfiring. Oh, he's my Pedro Pascal. Well, I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised he is fluid. He has uh-uh. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. No. It was like but yeah, but he's always been open about, well, he's never really put a label on it, but he's always been open about, man crushes and being affectionate with men and women. And look, he's Latino. Y'all about to hate me for saying this, but Latin men will stick their dick in anything. No shade. We live for it. And how affectionate they are, especially if you go to Europe. Like in Brazil, oh please, don't go to Brazil if y'all mad about how Pedro Pascal be filling all up on people without what's the word y'all be without consent. I'm like, y'all will lose y'all mind if y'all left the United States. Oh my god, you're touching me without my consent. Call the police. It's like, if this how y'all act, if I could just lock eyes with somebody, I was like, okay, let's start hunching, bitch, I will be in heaven. And that's what it's all about. It's about that connection. It's about that eye contact. It's about, the bodies getting together and formulating all this, oh, you touch me without my consent. Oh, you need it. Like, I ain't got time. Look, you gonna pull out a fucking contract and I gotta read the whole contract, and it literally look like those contracts when you buying a cell phone and you don't read the fine print, like how them contracts be. And then it's like all the little writing at the bottom and you gotta get the magnifying glass. Like, is this what we doing now when it comes to hooking up and relationships? Everything's got to be contractual. Whatever. We don't care. We don't know her. To my petty pop culture hates urban legend. I love that movie. I said, did I hear Sydney's name gay Ghostface? Or wasn't there a gay? Wasn't there a gay? Oh, was that fake? When he was like, when he said he was gay in Scream 4 and he got he wasn't gay for real, the filmmaker. He said Scream 4 was very Sydney heavy, but it was very even. Yeah. Okay, so I've yet to hear or see anything from Kesha's tour, and Katie's tour makes noise. Well, that is true. Katie's tour does make noise for all the wrong reasons. Didn't somebody just pass out of her show? That was the latest story. I'm like, damn, something always happening. I just hope nothing happens at the show I'm going to be working next Monday, because anybody got time for that? Please. But yeah, the gays was all up in the whole Kesha tour, so I have been hearing about a lot of stuff that's been going on with that. Kesha is doing amphitheater. Kesha is a more adult artist. Like she said, I hate kids. Gaga and Katie was okay. We almost at the end because, child, I'm like, this is the most I've had in one segment. And you said, but a lot of people hate Kesha because they suck. Do they? I'm like, I've been saying this Ethel Kane name, but I never took time enough to listen to her music. Yeah, Kim Petras' recent material. Wait, did she part ways with Dr. Luke too? I feel like, well, I think they always kind of in the wheelhouse of going hyper pop with the music. So I can't say everybody trying to be Charlie XCX. Because if you think about it, Katy Perry. Kesha was doing hyper pop before it even had a name, but I feel like she was more or less in the vein of like a more mainstream version of a Peaches. That's what Kesha was giving me with a lot of her music with TikTok and Cannibal and Blow and all the other stuff. Except Peaches is more vulgar. The bad album was in my household. I was three posing in the mirror. But look, my parents had all the vinyls, so I was aware of Michael Jackson. Like I remember, I used to pull out the vinyl and open it up, and it had all the cool pictures and all that other stuff in there. Exactly. Robin and Kesha was hyper pop. Hmm. I don't know about Robin though. I mean, I guess she dabbled, but her stuff was more like, well, it's kind of teetering on the whole electro pop situation. I think she did take a lot of inspiration from like what Madonna was doing with Ray of Light, which is like you take those cold synths and the dance music, and then you add that emotional vulnerableness of the vocals on top of that. So that's kind of what Robin was doing with her music. But it wasn't like on the nose copying like what Madonna was doing though. But anyway, child, let's get into our second topic because we are an hour into the show. This is the longest segment we've done. But keep the comments coming though. But I just gotta, keep the pace with these topics. Let's get into this mess. So apparently Trump is trying to still do whatever he can to distract everybody from these damn Epstein files because now he's slamming the Breakfast Club, Charlamagne the God, over his recent appearance on that other Nepo broad. I can't say Nepo baby because she basically got into the marriage because she's fucking his ugly ass son, the one that looked like Sloth from the Goonies, aka Eric Trump. Yeah, that's her husband. So now Trump is coming out because Charlamagne went on her show that, of course, is on Fox News because who else would give her a gig, especially when Trump has been giving everybody who was at Fox News once upon a time gigs in politics. Most recently, Janine Pirro, who always looks like she's melting on camera in real time with all that, and I'm sure that if you stabbed her in the arm or whatever, she'd bleed alcohol or rosé or Merlot. Take your pick of which wine. So yeah, so he went on her show, was talking about his whole policies of how he's been doing for the past 6 months, and he's been talking about his big bullshit bill because that's basically what it is. It's not a big, like, the fact of you giving a bill a title like it's some type of marketing situation is just clownery to me. But this is what our country is now. Everything is political. Everything is. I hear people say take politics out of everything. Everything has been made political by this current administration, and for the past since his first administration, he has found a way to politicize and market every little thing like he's on the goddamn QVC. So for y'all to sit up here and try to say stop making things political, good luck with that because everything that you're looking at is political. First of all, this was pointed out from the days of if you ever watched the movie They Live, that kind of has been put out there like that. So y'all just ain't been paying attention. But so yeah, so he went on and talked about his big BS bill and all this other stuff and how he won't be affected by it because, of the tax bracket. But I do think that there will be some rich people affected. He said that people who aren't as well off as he is will be affected financially. And so the Donald decided because he ain't got nothing else to do. You would think that as the president of the United States, you're actually supposed to be running the country and working on things like foreign policy, bringing down, certain budgets, helping with, universal health care, whatever. But no, he's not doing that. His administration is all about subtraction. They're good at taking things away from people. Your medical insurance, jobs, all kind of federal jobs. They just got rid of the thing that was, public access and all the other stuff. Like he's real good. They favored math symbol of subtraction. Like I said, it's not about helping the people. And people, I think people are outraged. And it's like this whole distraction from the Jeffrey Epstein files, because he is in them, and some of the tea that was coming out about it. Like I saw a video today, and I'll get into that in a second, of someone who knew Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein actually showed him photos of Donald Trump in compromising positions with girls who looked like they were underage, and how at one point they were sitting on his lap and all this other stuff, and then there was like 3 girls that you couldn't tell what their age was. I have the clip, and I'm gonna show it to y'all because I've been telling y'all this for the longest, and now we have proof of it because people think I just be pulling stuff out my ass and just make stuff up. Said that they were laughing and pointing at his pants because he had a little stain on the pants from being overly excited with these young girls. And this is around the time I think that one of his he was undergoing some bankruptcy type stuff. So yeah, so instead of him actually doing something like governing and being the president, which is what presidents usually do instead of jumping on social media every 3 seconds with some BS, he posted the following. So I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to read it. So he said, the very wonderful and talented Laura Trump, whose show is a big rating success. Sometimes this shit writes itself. Put racist sleazebag Charlamagne the God. Why is he allowed to use the word God when describing himself? Can anyone imagine the uproar there would be if I use that nickname? He's a low IQ individual, has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth, and knows nothing about me and what I have done. Like just ending 5 wars. What wars have you ended? Just name one. Because if you're talking about the war in Gaza, no, it was just announced today that they're making moves, Israel, to move in and fully occupy Gaza. And the next move they're going to do is the West Bank. So what war did you end? Ukraine and Russia still fighting. You actually just picked a fight with Russia and got submarines aimed at Russia like you about to start a nuclear war. And then the Russians had to go over there and remind you, sir, you're our bitch. You ain't running stuff over here. So you trying to run around act like you this big and bad wannabe gangster. You are not Al Capone. You're not even under the shit under Al Capone's shoe. So you over here trying to act like you're this big and bad guy when it's like you're a paisan if you want to get Italian. Like you're an idiot. So it's not happening. So I'm trying to sit up here and flex in front of your demographic or your MAGA constituents. Maybe that looks good because the perception and the image works, but nobody's buying it. Well, at least those of us with common sense and a damn brain, we're not buying it. So yeah, he said he ended 5 wars. Just name which one, sir. Including a 31-year bloodbath between the Republic of Congo and Rwanda, where 7 million people have died and there was no end in sight. He didn't know that. Or India and Pakistan, or wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities. First of all, Iran never had nuclear weapons. So what are you talking about? How do I know this? And I'm not even the fucking president. But that was a narrative y'all kept putting out there that Iran had nuclear weapons. They never had it, actually. In fact, if we're going to talk about it, wasn't there someone of Libya who gave up their arms and everything, and then he was sodomized by I forget what, I think it was like he was violently sodomized and then killed on film. I believe they recorded it and showed it. So then he also went on to say, or closing a horrendous open border, or creating the greatest economy where prices and inflation have come way down. That's a lie. And where stupid and corrupt Joe Biden set the record for doing the worst job. Why does he always have to bring Biden or Obama and stuff? But this dope, Charlamagne, would vote for Sleepy Joe or Kamala. Remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. And then put MAGA with 3 exclamation points. This man is unhinged. This man needs to be in a straitjacket, in a mental institution, and locked up forever. Where does he get off to say all this stuff? And then on top of that, I'm about sick of him when we don't even know what color you are. Always coming in on people of color and always call them low IQ. You did it with AOC. You did it with Kamala Harris. You're doing it with Charlamagne. So anybody who is remotely a shade of brown, do y'all know, or woman, y'all notice he always says that y'all got a low IQ? But if we actually did an IQ test with you, I know you would fail. There's enough people in your situation where you're going to have them cook the books. But the way you talk, you lie. Somebody said we're the hottest country because we're in hell. Straight on point with
but
that.
But he better watch his back. I'm scared for him. Trump is going to target every exceptional black person he can think of. We're about a week away from him saying that Urkel did 9/11. Did he do that? No, John. No, he didn't. He was nowhere near the towers that day. He's got to come clean about Epstein. I am sick of this.
I agree. How much longer can he avoid talking about it?
Obviously, it depends on how many black people he has left.
Why do black people matter?
Why do black people matter, John? What the Well, John, we still got a lot of work to do.
I know. I meant, why do they matter to the Epstein story?
It's because Trump is trying to throw every black person he can think of in front of this scandal to distract us. First, he released the Martin Luther King Jr. files. Then he accused Obama of treason. And now he wants to prosecute Oprah and Beyonce. He's coming after all of our greatest black people. Who's next? Michael Jordan? Michael B. Jordan? Michael C. Jordan?
Who is Michael C. Jordan?
I don't know, John, but he better watch his back. I'm scared for him. Trump is going to target every exceptional black person he can think of. We're about a week away from him saying that Urkel did 9/11. Did he?
Okay, so yeah, so that was basically what how Charlamagne responded to a lot of the hate that he was getting over Trump. And this is what he posted over on his Instagram. And let's read some of the comments, and then I'm going to play y'all his donkey of the day, which as soon as I saw this yesterday, I was actually on my way home from working. I'm not even going to get into it. The Mets game. It was a crazy day yesterday, but yeah. So I was on my way home and I was just checking on my messages or whatever. And as I was reading this article, I literally posted, I was like, I am looking forward to Charlamagne's Donkey of the Day the next day, which is today. And I got I'm going to actually play it for y'all if y'all haven't seen it. But let's get through some of the comments that the people were saying. So another person said he's a low IQ individual and then proceeds to create the longest run-on sentence with 380 grammatical errors. This was a pain. Yeah, damn sure was. Says this was painful to read for me. Let alone you haven't read. They say you made it. The president of the United States is worried about you. Yeah, that is true. Now, if Trump, you know what? Even though I say that this bar gossip, the bar is set in hell if you literally are looking at it like you haven't made it until Donald Trump reads you on True Social. And as somebody said, Donkey of the Day will be legendary tomorrow. And now, speaking of Donkey of the Day, let's get into it. So this is pretty lengthy. It's about 7 minutes. This is going to be so we'll play that clip. I had to change the tempo on it because, they love coming after me over there at the Breakfast Club. So I had to change so he's going to be told a little quick. Not to the point where y'all can't understand what he's saying. He's not going to sound like a chipmunk. We're going to play the clip, and then we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
Donkey of the Day for Monday, August 4th goes to President Donald J. Trump. Now, if you haven't heard, I was on Lara Trump's show, My View, on Fox this past weekend. Dropping a clue bomb for Lara Trump. She's been a guest on Breakfast Club before, so I had no problem showing up to her program. I'm one of those silly rabbits who still believes in the First Amendment. Okay, freedom of speech. Thankfully, Lara is a Trump who still believes in freedom of speech because her father-in-law, the 47th president of the United States of America, did not take too kindly to some things I had to say. Now,
how do you rate his president?
Hold on. Before we get to that, I got to ask a question. So how is it that she gets to call her show My View and y'all hate The View? Y'all talk about you can't stand the women over there at The View because they're always going in on Donald Trump, but you call your show My View? Get out of here. Talk about unoriginality. Anyway, let's get back to the thing. I was just something I was thinking about and I forgot to mention.
So far.
I wouldn't give it a good rating,
Why not?
simply because, the least of us are still being impacted the worst. Like when you look at something like, the Big Beautiful Bill, that's something that, I'm going to benefit from because of the tax bracket that I'm in. But, there's going to be so many people that's hurt by that bill. And, anything that takes away Medicaid from people and is going to put people in a worse financial situation than, they were previously in, I'm not for it. I mean, where is the lie? Trump's Big Beautiful Bill is going to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Okay, the other issue I said on My View with Lars Trump is I believe traditional conservatives are quietly staging a political coup to take their party back from MAGA. I explained this to y'all a couple of weeks ago. Traditional conservatives are going to take the Republican Party back. I think there's a political coup going on right now in the Republican Party that people aren't paying attention to. This Epstein thing is going to be a way for traditional conservatives to take their party back. I think that they know this is the issue that has gotten the base riled up. The MAGA base isn't letting this issue go. And for the first time, they know they can probably take their party back and not piss off the MAGA base. I think they're going to do that. Just a conspiracy theory I have. It just feels like traditional conservatives who lost the party to Trump could use this opportunity to get it back because the MAGA base wouldn't be upset at all if they impeached Trump and voted to remove him because he's in the Epstein files. Trump didn't like any of that, so he replied with a long-ass post on Truth Social.
The very wonderful and talented Lara Trump, whose show is a big rating success, put racist sleazebag Charlamagne the God. Why is he allowed to use the word God when describing himself? Can anyone imagine the uproar there would be if I use that nickname?
We'll study your lessons.
He's a low IQ individual, has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth, and knows nothing about me or what I've done. Like just ending 5 wars, including a 31-year bloodbath between Republic of the Congo and Rwanda, where 7 million people have died, and there was no end in sight. He did not know that. Or India and Pakistan, or wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities, or closing the horrendous open border, or creating the greatest economy where prices and inflation have come way down, and where stupid and corrupt Joe Biden set the record for doing the worst job as president ever. But this dope Charlamagne would vote for Sleepy Joe or Kamala, ? Remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead, and now it's the hottest, and he capitalized hottest, country anywhere in the world, MAGA.
Now, the personal insults, I don't care. He called me a sleazebag. I looked up the definition of sleazebag. Says it's a disgusting or despicable person. Depending on who you ask, that may apply to me. Okay, I personally prefer friendly neighborhood a-hole. He said I'm a low IQ individual. I don't know. I've never taken an IQ test. He said I have no idea what words are coming out of my mouth. Absolutely true. Okay, I've been surprising myself my whole life. Like, damn, I actually said that? Now, let's get to your claims. He said I don't know anything about him ending 5 wars. Mr. President, nobody knew that. Because it's not true. All right. There is zero evidence, nothing credible whatsoever that says President Trump played any role in ending the ongoing conflict in the Eastern DRC or in Rwanda. Okay. America has not brokered any major peace deal between the DRC and Rwanda during Trump's second term. And wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities, you did pull off a significant strike, but it didn't eliminate
Iran's nuclear capability. Saying you wiped it out is an overstatement because according to reports, no enrichment facility was destroyed and Iran's nuclear threat is still very active, and some experts argue it's more dangerous now due to a lack of international oversight and the increased beef with Israel and the USA. Now, you also claim the borders were closed. Not closed, but you have tightened immigration policies and increased enforcement. You have definitely made the border harder to cross, but saying it's closed is false and ignores everyone coming over seeking legal asylum. By the way, I want border security. I just want you to keep your promise of deporting illegals and criminals. But since Homeland Security started to work to deport more people, okay, immigrants with legal status or no criminal history are being detained and deported too. That's not right. Okay, your family is always in fear.
Whose family you talking
about?
about?
All right, listen, my fellow Americans, listen, my fellow Americans, we are in a strange time right now, a time we have never seen because authoritarian strategy is being used against anyone who speaks out against this administration. But that, along with his reaction to what I said on Laura Trump, shows how authoritarians will attempt to bully people into pushing false narratives. President Trump, do you realize the best way to get the headlines you want is to simply do a good job? Is to simply do right by all Americans? He called me a racist. I didn't mention race not one time on Laura Trump. I didn't bring up.
Not only that, but Black people cannot be racist. I'm tired of people saying that now because Black people do not have authority over a specific race. Now, white people do, hello, colonialism. So Black people have never come to a point where they've come on ships, they've been able to enslave a group of people and have power and authoritarianism. Is that a word? Authoritativeness. I guess that's the word we're going to use because apparently I'm tongue-tied today over another race. So Black people cannot be racist. They can be prejudiced, but you can't be racist. So Trump's an idiot. But anyway, let's get back to the clip. Oh, and also, let me just get back to the clip.
The fact that President Trump issued an executive order directing oversight of institutions like the Smithsonian to remove or suppress narratives about systemic racism in Black history. They want to reframe cultural memory to eliminate discussions of historical racial injustice. That, along with the termination of diversity and civil rights programs, are considered very racist by a lot of civil rights advocates. I didn't even bring that up. Okay, I was just talking to your base, letting your base know that you haven't kept the promises you made in regards to the economy. In fact, you've made things worse. It's actually hilarious to see you upset about the high unemployment rates when you let Elon Musk take a chainsaw to the federal government and fire a bunch of government workers earlier this year. You did that, President Trump, and now you're doing exactly what the Biden administration did, trying to convince America the economy is all good when it's not. Maybe for people in a certain tax bracket, but for majority of your constituents who aren't in the 1%, it's not all good. So you can hire a new labor statistics chief to lie about the numbers. It won't stop the reality of people being unemployed. Okay, you can tell falsehoods about inflation being down. It won't stop the reality of the price of consumer goods being high because of tariffs you implemented. So listen, President Trump, don't worry about Leonard. Okay, don't worry about Charlamagne the God. I know something I said hit a nerve and rattled you a little bit, but I don't want you rattled. I want you to end wars. Okay, I want you to keep the border secure. I want you to have the economy booming. Okay, I want all these things to be true. I am an American. I don't care who's in the White House. I want America to succeed. Okay, believe it or not, I'm rooting for you, but I need you focused. And right now, you're not focused. Okay, we need you focused on two things: the economy and Epstein. All right, I need you to keep the promises of a great economy and the promises of transparency with the Epstein files. And I don't want us as a people to be distracted. Whenever you see Trump trying to deflect from what's important, keep him focused. Ask two simple questions. What about the economy? What about the Epstein files?
All right, so that was pretty much the end of the clip. And we already know that the man doesn't know how to be focused on anything. He's erratic. He's always all over the place, and he's a disgusting human being. So we've already known that. And the fact that a country can elect someone who is a convicted felon, who is a known R-worder and abuser and want to be authoritarian. I see why allegedly Don Jr. be out here having a snorting mountains of booger sugar, because it's like, how do you deal being a part of that family, dealing with that man 24/7, 365? But last but certainly not least, with that whole clip, there was something else I want to show you guys. So I came across this video of Michael Wolff, who has done a lot of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein, who recently did an interview with the Midas Touch, which is like another show that I absolutely love. I watch Midas Touch a lot. They do a lot of really good political news. It's the stuff you won't hear on network television, or any of the linear TV. But anyway, so there's this clip I want to show y'all where he was having an interview. And if you can, definitely go to Midas Touch's YouTube channel and subscribe, check them out and everything, because their content is great. But they basically talked about how the thing I was telling you earlier, that Jeffrey Epstein basically went, and when he was being interviewed by Michael Wolff, sat and said, I got to show you something. And then went into a safe and came out with pictures of Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house. So while you've never been, you say you've never been to the island, you've been on the plane, the Lolita Express, where you actually, you know, screwed Melania, who I know she knows where all the bodies is buried. Because I think she's a victim, but she sacrificed what she had to become a legal, a legal citizen, allegedly. And a lot of the stuff that allegedly he might be accused of, whatever's in those Epstein files, may have happened at his Palm Beach house, and how 2 girls was sitting on his lap, and then the whole thing about the stain and all that other stuff. So yeah, I have that clip. We're going to play that clip, and then we'll come back and talk. Let me make sure the audio is on. Please hold.
But at any rate, at one point, after Trump had been elected, I was sitting talking to Epstein, and he said, wait a minute, I got to show you something. And then he went into his safe, and he came out with photographs. They were Polaroids, I think, and he kind of spread them out like playing cards, and it was Trump. I mean, I think there were a dozen of them, and it was Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house, where all of the things that he would ultimately be accused of took place. And I remember very vividly 3 of them. There are 2 in which Trump is, the girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a 3rd in which he has a stain on the front of his pants. And the girls are kind of pointing at it, sort of bent over, laughing, covering
their mouths. And,
yeah, exactly. And pointing, 3 or 4 girls. And those are the ones I specifically remember. And my assumption is that they were in the safe, and I have seen them on other occasions take them out of the safe. And I think it's certainly not unlikely that they were in the safe when the FBI came in after his arrest and took everything from the house, including everything that was in the safe.
So yeah, so there you have it.
But
where I was I was telling y'all, it's like, yeah, he is in those Epstein files. These are some of the things he doesn't want to get out. I know, like in linear television, they be trying to dot all their I's and cross all their T's because they don't want to say anything offensive and worry about getting sued and this, that, and the other. But if there's nothing to hide, as you claim that, this is a coup or something or another that's by Obama, which I'm like, Obama ain't thinking about your ass. He got other things on his mind to be worried about you. The same thing with Stephen A. Smith in that forehead, where he mad because Michelle done call his ass sassy, but you out here acting like a full-on bitch. I don't know why you surprised. Well, a hit dog a holler, apparently, because I'm sure y'all probably heard why Stephen A. Smith all of a sudden is mad at Michelle Obama, but she ain't said no lie. I ain't hear no lie from her. So, regardless of what she said to him, but this whole situation, like I said, it's a distraction from the Epstein files. This man knows that there's a whole lot of stuff on him and them things. This is why he is a bitch to Russia. He is a bitch to Israel. He is literally their bitch. So he's up in here trying to act like he's this authoritative figure that he's like this big macho man or whatever. Hence why he keeps playing the gayest song ever made in dance music. And it's funny how when you don't even get the double entendres of that damn song, you be playing it like it's your damn theme song. And all this other stuff, like I said, it's a distraction from the Epstein files. He doesn't want a lot of this stuff to get out. And this is why, for those who are not even aware of what's going on, this is why I feel like it's my due diligence to bring y'all the stuff that's going on with him that he don't want getting out. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to the whole thing about Charlamagne and him going after Charlamagne, I'm like, what was the point of this? Like, you just doing all of this. Like I said, this is all a distraction from the Epstein files. He's trying to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. Nothing is working, and they're gagging. They've been able to distract y'all and come up with so many other things. Take away your health care, take away your pensions, take away this, that, and the other, going after unions, close a lot of federal jobs, all the other laundry list of things that's going, the cancer research and all the stuff that's going out of the window, killing public access, destroying the education system, what's left of it. Like, there's a laundry list of things that they've been great at dismantling because they don't know how to create things. They know how to destroy, because it's easier to take a wrecking ball of things and actually come up with some damn policy that would actually move this country forward and help the American people who need help the most. It's hard to do that. So he's distracted with all this stuff. Everything's been able to work so far, but 6 months in, I think like people are just tired of the mess. People are tired of, the people are not letting you off the hook with the whole Epstein files. And he's getting pissed because y'all keep asking about it. And he don't want that getting out. Hopefully somebody be smart enough to leak it. I wish Anonymous would get on it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so now let's go on up. He said, I don't know about Robin, but Nicki has a few songs from Roman Reloaded that A.G. Cook took inspiration from. How I Roll by Britney. Yeah, there's a lot of those elements in there, but I guess before it had a name. Kevin Kidney said, during the analog internet era, you can turn the information off, but you can't at all. Be very unplugged is rare because people will call and be looking for you, even if you're just with your folks and left your phone. Yeah, people are so plugged into the matrix right now. It's hard to unplug from it. Yes, she is. Is he gonna drag Marty? Oh yeah, because Marty Taylor Greene, I don't trust her as far as I can throw her, just like Candace Owens. But she turned on the party too. So I do feel like there's gonna be an overthrowing of, they're trying to get him and MAGA and all the other stuff out, and the old Republican guard is gonna try to slither their way back in. We'll see. For thinking about leaving the Republican Party because she's realized it's. But first of all, she's an idiot. I'm like, girl, where the hell have you been? Like, not only do you look like the first creation of man, but your brain is like a caveman too. Like, how did you at what part of being a part of the Republican Party did you think they were pro women? I mean, I thought that them trying to prevent women from having abortions, that should have been the dead giveaway. But the bitch is slow, so. It was never about America first. It was always about pockets first. Wait, what were you doing? Wait, I missed that. Were you talking about OMG, it is? Oh, this is good news. What, you talking about Marty Taylor Greene? or you talking about Wendy Williams? Because it's like, yeah, nah, I didn't even realize her YouTube channel was gone. Because I'm like, there be so much stuff on YouTube. It's hard for me to keep up with everything that's going on. All right, so now let's get back into the show. Let's talk about Beyonce, who, she wrapped the Cowboy Carter tour. What was it, last week? But this morning, and when my friends Joe Vaughn sent me this all the way from Spain, I didn't even know she dropped something. But she's out here, everybody's all mad about Sydney Sweeney and her tight-ass jeans from American Eagle. I'm like, who still wears American Eagle in 2025? I don't know, not one person. And first of all, you got to be shaped like a pear to be wanting to put on some mom jeans. But anyway, so Beyonce was like, screw all of that. I'm actually coming out with my own jean line, which makes sense because she has a song called Levi's Jeans with, what the hell, Post Malone. Almost forgot his damn name. Post Malone over there on the Cowboy Carter album. And now she's actually come out with her own line of jeans, and people believe that she gave a hint in regards to the whole cowboy, like Act 3, which let's go over to her IG and I'll play it, but I'm gonna keep it on mute because I don't want, the demonetization. So we'll have it on with her little Etta James wig, and I don't want to be shady or whatever, or is it even shade, but Beyonce looked like she had some work done on her body. Like, her ass looked like, I don't know if you ain't get the Madonna booty special. Like you didn't get butt implants or fat removed from certain places to make your booty look plump. Because after you have a bunch of kids, the body don't be bodying as much as it once was. So I'm sure Beyonce has had work done just to, tighten some things up, especially when you're a woman in your 40s. So on Monday, August 4th, her label Part 1 Entertainment shared a short film called The Denim Cowboy on its Instagram page. Now, the video, which comes as part of a partnership with Levi's, sees Bey arriving on horseback to a laundromat, as y'all are seeing right now, washing her jeans before heading to work, a shift at a diner. By 9:04 p.m., which fans caught as a nod to her birthday, September 4th, Bey steps into a dive bar in a fabulous denim suit, shooting some pool. Now, after she wins the game, the losers remove their jeans. Bey then leaves the bar, only this time she's on a motorcycle instead of a horse, though this was a very brief moment in the clip. The Beehive is buzzing with theories about the next chapter in her trilogy. Now, as y'all have become well aware, as you can see in the Levi's jean commercial, as you have become well aware, the first Renaissance, Act 1, was a dance record. Even though technically Act 1 was supposed to be Cowboy Carter, but because of the time in which we were in, she decided to switch it and make it a dance record. So Renaissance Act 1 was the dance record. Now Act 2 was Cowboy Carter, was the country album. Now, even before she dropped Cowboy Carter, as y'all know, back in 2024, fans have always speculated that Act 3 was going to be a rock album. And people believe because she jumped on the back of the motorcycle that this is basically giving the Beehive the Easter egg that they needed. But in country music, they also ride motorcycles. But then again, it's like, if you are talking about, we're about to get off the horse and ride the hog, or the bike, if you want to call it that, it does kind of give credence to the fact that, yeah, this might be where we're going. So yeah, one person said, we ready to get off the horse and ride that bike. One fan wrote in the comments. Another person wrote, Act 3 is loading. And another person wrote, we are ready. What was it? Mother, my wallet is tired. We just started saving up for Act 3. It's like, yes, sis. You already made over $400 million with this tour. And you made like over $500 million with Act 1. It's like, girl, let the people wallet breathe for a second. Another person said, okay, old English font, okay, motorcycle. And then, so a lot of people thinking that, another person said, Beyonce, girl, don't play with my blood pressure. So, and then they said, we ride at dawn, even though Michelle Williams had a song called We Break at Dawn. Then somebody else wrote, here, Giselle, take my car, not the middle name. But yeah, so a lot of people believe that 9/4, we may be getting some sort of announcement on her birthday, which would actually be pretty smart, because I think her birthday is on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. I have to check. But because I told you I'm 2 days I was born 2 days before Beyonce, so I'm September 2nd, she's September 4th. And so we'll have to check and see if the things will be going on the way they be going on. Now, excuse me. Now, as y'all know, she wrapped her last tour, the Cowboy Carter tour, in Paradise, Nevada, at Allegiant Stadium. It was also last month when one of her dancers' cars, which reportedly contained unreleased Beyonce music, was broken into in Atlanta, and flash drives in the computer was stolen, which makes us think that, yeah, a lot of that music or whatever was probably for this upcoming era. Hopefully they were able to recover certain things, and they probably had to go in, because remember when, I don't know if it was the same thing, but it might be. Remember when some of Madonna's stuff had leaked, and then she went in at the last minute and kind of changed things up? And then people were comparing the unreleased stuff the unreleased demos to the final product, and people was like, she liked some of the other stuff. I think it was during when she was working with Avicii. I'm hoping that the same thing doesn't happen with Beyonce, where it's like, I hope she was able to get them songs back, or whatever it was that ended up missing, or they probably have been in the studio being like, okay, let's start changing up some things and rearranging and stuff, because this is the time now that while she's not touring, and I'm sure the smart thing would be, I hope she has a studio in her house, because then she could work on the stuff in there and have the producer, whoever she's working with, come over and they start tweaking and working on some things. for this next era. But if it is a rock album, I'm genuinely curious of being like, what it's going to sound like and what direction she's going to go into. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of entertainment, whatever. The thing I have a problem with Beyonce is like, while I love the entertainment aspect, I like the fact that she's trying to reintroduce her or give a history lesson of sorts to a lot of her fans regarding the history of Black contribution to certain genres of music. I feel like Beyonce was most innovative when she came with the whole visual album concept. And I kind of wish she would go back to that. It's just like, I enjoyed some of the songs where the Cowboy Carter wasn't necessarily my judge. You get an A for effort. I like that you stepped outside of your comfort zone. But I feel like you're focusing too much. You're sacrificing the pop star thing for too much of the artistic expression. And if you're trying to give a Solange, it's not working. Because me, I like Solange for a specific reason. Like, I like the fact that Solange is somebody who can kind of go off and be her individual outside the box, like very much in the range of like a FKA Twigs. Like, that's the kind of vibe she gives with what she does. But Beyonce is like, yeah, you can take a lot of those inspirations, but I need you to bring that pop aspect to it, where we got some catchy songs. And to me, it's like, yeah, Beyonce will always sell out a stadium. She'll always be successful as a live performer. But in regards of like that innovative aspect of the music, I feel like she's been sacrificing that since the first Renaissance. So I need her to kind of go back to, I'm not saying you got to give us what you already gave. You already did what you need to do, but it's just like, I need more catchier songs. Like when you did the country thing, the country music was cute, but I wanted more Sweet Honey Bucket. Like I wanted more experimental stuff what you was doing with that track versus, oh, I got to give you on the nose country or whatever the case was. Like it was just, I just kind of got bored with that record. And it's like with country music, like if I'm going to listen to country and stuff, like I want more Shania Twain. Like when she went pop, that made her music more palatable for me. Because I'm not just going to listen to somebody strumming the guitar. Like I'm not Mr. Twangy with that. So, now her father and former manager, Matthew Knowles, that's with one T, has suggested she might share the new music sooner rather than later. Now, in an August 1st interview, he went on Don Lemon. Knowles revealed that Bey was in fact set to release new music and that she may have to rework her rollout, saying Beyonce will have to make a decision if she's going to release now. She was working on another project. Now she might have to release it sooner than she anticipated. Now, this probably could be because, like I was saying, because of the leaks or the stolen, not the leaks, the stolen music. Now, the bar, I will say, is set high for Act 3. They said back in February, Cowboy Carter won the Grammy Award for Best Country Album and Album of the Year. So we'll see where all this stands once it comes out. I'm definitely looking forward to whatever Beyonce is going to bring. And when she drops new music, hopefully in a month, because today is the August 4th. So a month from today, Beyonce will be 44, I think. Yeah, she'll be 44, I believe. So we'll see if she plans on releasing music around that time. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do y'all think that this is, based on that Levi's commercial, that this is a hint that Miss Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter is planning on releasing new music and giving us the third chapter in this whole Renaissance trilogy? So whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. A lot of people are saying it's going to be more rock and roll and Tina Turner inspired, but I hope it's similar to Cowboy Carter and starts one way and ends another way in turn. Yeah, I've heard about Rosanna Tharpe. Rosanna Tharpe is an icon. I don't think a lot of people are familiar with Rosanna Tharpe and her influence as was she like the first Black female guitar player or something or another? I have to look that up. But yeah, I'm hoping that I hope it's got those. I think the Tina Turner isms in regards of the stage, for the dancing, the moving around, all the other stuff, and the heels, like giving the showmanship of Tina Turner. I don't want the music to be too much on the nose like Tina Turner. But if she gives us the Tina Turner showmanship, but also gives a little more of like some of that soul music within the whole rock, like the heavy on the live instrument. I just want, if she plans on going there with like live instrumentation and just mashes it with all these different types of, like you said, micro genres, then I would be for it. Rosetta Tharpe is obvious, but she can embody Screaming Jay Hawkins. Do you think she would actually kind of go in that direction where, like, there be a goth vibe to the music? We'll see. It's all time. What did you think of Sabrina? I actually liked it. Which is of course, the go-to song of September. Do you remember? I did like the performance when she brought them out. It's like pay homage. I didn't like the fact that when they were like he was telling them to scream like all this stuff, they were like like lukewarm, and then she does it, they get all excited. It's like, okay, people, wake up. Like, show your respect to Earth, Wind, and Fire. They are icons in the music landscape. And everybody knows September. I hope there's at least one metal song. Could you imagine Beyonce going metal? I mean, she kind of did dabble in rock music during Lemonade, which is like one of my favorite Beyonce albums. That's a quote, a viral tweet. She really wants her fans to appreciate, listen to Black artists, and for some reason, they actively keep fighting against it, despite it being her clear base inspiration. I think, oh, you're talking about Sabrina? Yeah, because I was thinking you was talking about Beyonce for a second. I'm like, but I think both of those, this could apply to both of them, because I do feel like Beyonce wants her fans to appreciate, listen to like Black artists, meaning like the history of our influence in a lot of different genres, rock music, country music, all these other sounds, even dance music. Because yeah, it was like dance music stems from like the gays and Black folks. So appreciating that genre of music. Same thing with rock music, same thing with country music, even though those aren't dominant factors because they've been colonized. And there are very few Black artists that are in that whole world of contributing to that sound. But I also think, yeah, with Sabrina too, it's like, if I'm going to take inspiration from a lot of these Black artists, you want to also bring those Black artists out and have your fans appreciate them. Because what it's become now is that so much Black influence, a lot of these people come in and just colonize our stuff. Like a lot of these K-pop kids sit up in here and heavily influenced by Black music. And because you put a little Asian face on it, it becomes a little more palatable, and people don't give the flowers where it's supposed to be. All right, so now let's go from Beyonce and let's talk about Rihanna. So, shout out to That Grape Juice for this tea, because they say, according to them, they believe that Rihanna is going, like, after she pushes this third baby out, that she's going to be doing a couple of live performances, which I believe we talked about a couple of months ago, that there was a rumor floating around that she's going to be doing a couple of live events, and that she'll also be sprinkling new music in between. Now, if it is a new album, that is TBD. But according to the story, they said, as reported, Riri has said to be prepping a series of London stadium shows before announcing her pregnancy. Now, along with context as to why her initial concerts didn't take place, comes alleged confirmation that a huge 2026 stage return is in the works. A source is quoted as saying, quote, Rihanna pulled the plug just days before her 2025 tour was due to be announced. There ended up being issues with production and scheduling conflicts, plus she didn't feel like her music was ready. But Rihanna and her team are now confident they can make it work for next year. The source continued, the dates will also coincide with the 10th anniversary of Anti. Has it really been 10 years since she's released a record? I cannot believe it's been a decade. But look, can we call her this Generation Sade? Because this is like the first album where we had to wait a decade for some new Riri music. It's funny how we was talking about that Honest thing earlier, and then they brought this up too. Rihanna was a part of the conversation when he was asking people's online, what is your most unpopular opinion, to send it to him, and then he'll answer it. And one of them was people pushing for Rihanna to release new music, and basically saying like, and I agree with it. It's like, if she's not ready to release music, then don't. Rihanna has given us so much music over the years, that even since when she came out with Music of the Sun, and she was like, what, 16, 17 when that album came out? And ever since her career finally hit with Umbrella and Good Girl Gone Bad, that whole era, She has consistently released a new album every year. So it was like back to back for the past 8 years. She released all 8 records. After Anti, she just disappeared, started her own business, Fenty Beauty and all that other stuff, became a billionaire, went off and had 3 kids. She's the third one on the way, got 3 kids, but technically if the baby's in you, it's coming. She had 3 kids with A$AP Rocky, and she's living the life, but she's doing things, and people are just impatiently waiting. It's like she's giving you so many bops. Just keep listening to those until the new music comes, and when she's ready, she'll release it. So yeah, they're talking about the coincide with the 10-year anniversary of her last album, Anti, and fans can expect to hear new music. Rihanna might be pregnant with her 3rd baby, but she is the ultimate working mom and has the support of her partner, A$AP Rocky. It's going to be incredible for her fans, and she can't wait to be back out on stage. So with that being said, only time will tell if this actually goes down. There's just been such consistent and constant talk. I won't say consistent, it's inconsistent, but it's been consistent. It's just been a lot of talk back and forth regarding, is she coming out with music? Is she not coming out with music? Is she doing a live tour? Is it gonna be new music on the tour? Is she just gonna do the live thing for nostalgia's sake? I don't know what the whole situation is. This has just been the ongoing back and forth rumor that has been coming out regarding all of this. And I feel like, you know what? I like Rihanna. I like a lot of her stuff. She does come out with a lot of cool videos. I like a lot of her past songs. I mean, if I ever want to jump in and listen to some old Rihanna stuff, I can always go on Apple Music and just pump it through my speakers. But if she's not ready to release music, then she'll release it when she's ready. If not ever. I mean, at this point, she doesn't really need to release music because she's made more of her coins as a mogul than she would be as a musician. Because, this business is set up for people to just be bankrupt and owe the studios or the labels money for the rest of their damn life. So you always got to do and then they get caught up in these 360 deals. It's a whole headache. So I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from you all. What do you think of this story? Do you think that we could be receiving new music from Rihanna next year? I mean, by that time, she's had her 3 kids. A$AP need to get them damn, the snip on them testiculars. Rihanna, girl, give your stomach and your ovaries a rest. Who knows? Maybe she wants to have a dozen kids with him or half a dozen. Don't do as many as Nick, please, as a canon. But so that way you can actually focus on the artistic stuff, the business, all those things. So she'll come out with it when she's ready, and hopefully it will be 2026, because I know the people are starving for some new Riri music. But like I said, when she's ready to release it, she'll release it. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. He said that judge sounded harsh, saying no acceptance at all. He's even telling Diddy, I'll keep denying it, so stop. Well, that's good to know, because we're going to get to that Diddy story soon. Rihanna's coming back before Janet. No, you're not. It said even John Bellion defended her for not being a songwriter, saying she doesn't need to. She is her own A&R. She knows a Rihanna song better than anybody else. Here's the thing. When did it ever become a problem that you're not a real artist if you don't write your own music? There are plenty of people who have never written their songs. Whitney Houston never wrote a song, but y'all gave her a pass. Why? Because she's one of the best singers on the planet. Frank Sinatra never wrote a single damn song, but he's revered as an iconic musician. So why is it that certain people y'all look at being like you don't take them seriously until they write a song or they play an instrument? I have to show you how talented I am. I'm going to play the piano. Or what? Who cares about all that? I don't feel like you need to write a song in order to be considered a talented artist. If you have an idea and you want to collaborate on the writing, whatever, you could do it. But not everybody's equipped to be a songwriter. And I wouldn't mind just being like, okay, I got these ideas. I'm gonna hit up Justin Tranter. We have a conversation. He write me a hit, and I get out there and sing it. So what? Who cares? I make my money in other ways. I make the money in the merch and the live performances. You can have all the percentage of the writing. I don't give a shit about that. I got talents in other places. But if somebody else is going to come in and is going to write songs, it's like Rihanna definitely knows what works for her as an artist. And she don't write songs, okay, so what? And that's why I don't understand why people get on artists for not being songwriters. Not everybody has that talent. So there are some people that are really good at articulating and bringing other people's writing to life, and that is a skill also. But when you don't know about songwriting and being an artist and those other things, these are the arguments that people are going to have, and they think they know every goddamn thing because they've been in the studio and they've accumulated and created music, so they know, right? Now, y'all know better than me, somebody who actually worked at VH1. So y'all know better than I do how the whole shit works. I be telling y'all what's in the recipe that's in the gumbo. If Riri and Bey released in same year again. That's what I was thinking of in the back of my head. I was like, I really hope this is not going to be a Riri versus Beyonce situation where y'all both will be fighting in 2026 over who. Look, we love them both, but I don't want the whole fighting back and forth situation. Sarah might be able to promote the album. CC, she hasn't announced. Look, she better not be pregnant. I mean, she lives in New York now because of Russell. I think he plays for the Giants. Maybe it's because I love writing. And I've seen him and her so many times at the Garden. Maybe it's because I love writing and folk music, but an artist being a songwriter is such a one-up for me. Yeah, it definitely gives you credibility, but it's not the end-all, be-all of... It's not a deal breaker. It's not the end-all, be-all of being an artist if you don't write a song. And like I said, there's a lot of people out here who don't write their own stuff. But anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about an artist that actually does write their own stuff. And that's Chappell of Rihanna. So while we still wondering when Riri gonna be releasing music, it might be a long time before Chappell Roan release music herself. So she recently did an interview because, she was out here promoting her new song called The Subway, which she did film all over New York, including on a subway. She recently did an interview where they were wondering, okay, so when are you actually going to be dropping new music? Because she did an interview with Vogue, and she revealed that her second project doesn't even exist. She said her, the album, her debut album, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, came out in 2023. And has since won the Grammy for Best New Artist and released 3 singles, including The Subway, The Giver, and Good Luck Babe. I cannot believe that out of all the songs she's released, those are the only songs. Wait, you also forgot Hot to Go, because that was like the biggest song. First of all, we still play that damn song at the Garden. Well, we haven't played it because we haven't had sports there in a while. But every time, we play. We also played it recently. We played at Citi Field as well in between the baseball games. So Hot to Go is still a hot commodity. HOTTOGO is a COMMODITY. I messed that joke up because I should have said that in the beginning. Now, she said there is no album, there is no collection of songs. So when can we expect a new full-length project from Roan? She said, it took me 5 years to write the first one, and it's probably going to take at least 5 to write the next. She said, I'm not the type of writer that can pump it out. Roan went on to say that she doesn't think that she makes good music whenever I force myself to do anything. She said, I see some comments sometimes like she's everywhere except that damn studio. Even if I was in the studio 12 hours a day, every single day, that does not mean that you would get an album any faster. The Subway, which she first debuted live at Governor's Ball last year, also took an annoying amount of time to get just right. She said, I just wasn't ready to put it out yet. It was just too painful. I was just too angry and scared just about my life to put it out. But now she's in a better place, which she said she owes in part to staying off social media. So saying, quote, socials harmed the fuck out of me and my art. I'm not going to do that to myself anymore. I've never written an album where I don't have Instagram or anything. The album process is purely only mine. No one on TikTok gets to see it. And you want to know something? I agree with her, because you want to know something. Sometimes when I'm writing things, sometimes it comes to you like a rainfall, and then sometimes it's like you could sit in a room and nothing, crickets. I'm just sitting there like nothing comes out. And so there's certain people that's like, you can't rush creativity. You can't rush something when it's trying to naturally progress. So who knows? It depends. When it comes to her, it comes to her, and she'll be able to create when the inspiration hits her. And she's one of those artists. Now, if she wants to become one of those artists where people send her stuff and she reworks them to fit her situation, then that's how you get songs out a lot faster. But yeah, creativity takes time. So I know a lot of y'all are impatiently waiting, thinking that it's just easy, like creativity comes to you like water running through a faucet. It's not how it works. Creativity comes when it comes. And I always have that in my head. Like I go through little situations sometimes. I'm like, the imposter syndrome situation when I do write little things. Like there was a lyric that I was literally on my way to work yesterday, and I had a handful of, I'm listening to music, and it was a lyric that popped in my head. I was like, oh my God, that's so good. I had to literally hurry up and try to find a spot so I could put my stuff down so I could put it in my notes just so I wouldn't forget. I'm like, oh my God, that's such a good line. So I write little things down in my notes on my phone and I tuck them away for, safekeeping. So it comes sometime when you least expect. You can have a dream, write that down if a lyric comes up. There's a lot of times when song lyrics and stuff comes to me where I'll be asleep and then something pops in my head and I gotta wake up real quick and write it down. So it comes when it comes in so many ways. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Are you disappointed that our favorite lesbian, not Renee Rapp, who's right out here tomorrow, she want to play Olivia Benson Lover on the next season of Law and Order SVU? I'm like, first of all, Olivia don't eat the box. So you're going to be waiting a mighty long time for Olivia Benson, who's solving them sex crimes over there on SVU, is going to be doing the coochie dance with another woman. That's not happening, sis. So keep dreaming. But anyway, back to Chappell and Rowan. I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? You mad that you may have to wait I don't think it's going to take 5 years because first of all, like the iron is hot right now. I don't know if artists of her generation can even take that long of a break to put out music to the point where they're like, well, you were hot back in 2024, but now it's 2028 and we don't care no more about you. Like the music, your whole momentum done dried up and your impact is not what it once was. So yeah, we're in a time of like, here today, gone today, the micro, generation where it's just like people, you have to constantly feed the beast. And if you disappear for a long time, just come back with new music. I don't know if your fan base has the patience or this generation has the patience to wait 5 years between records. My generation was different. Like Britney and all of them, well, even though she didn't, they could take like 3-4 years and it was fine to an extent. I think it did kind of hurt some people. But yeah, you couldn't even, damn, I don't think you could take that big of a break then, even though there was some people that did. And we loved them even more for like Sade. Sade would come back every 8 to 10 damn years. And when she came out with an album, it was an event. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. A serious question. Does Chappell have lesbians on the chokehold like Melissa Etheridge did? Same thing with Caitlyn and Indigo Girls. Yeah, I think because Chappell does more like the drag queen aesthetic, which is like she's more of a show woman. That's why the gays gravitate towards her. I don't know if there's a lot of lesbians that like Chappell Roan. I know more of the girls go for Billie Eilish, but I don't know necessarily if they go for Chappell. But if they do, let me know in the comments. I don't think she's that huge in the lesbian spaces the way Pink and Taylor Swift are. Spotify raises. Well, I'm glad I don't use Spotify. I would say she is they love her and women and Renee Rapp is a chop hole that isn't that huge in female homosexual spaces. See, I guess we was right. Nobody don't care about Renee Rapp. It would be insane if she did wait until 2030 to release a follow-up for her 2024 album, a 6-year break for top 40 pop. Yeah, that's what I say. You're a top 40 artist. Like, you can't wait that long. I'm sure her label will put pressure on her to probably send her some tracks, but like, you could just work through these songs, but you could add a couple of your own stuff. But we have some songs floating around that has been written, some demos, listen to them, rework them in your own favor, because we need to get some new Chappell Romans. You got to strike while the iron is hot. So she thinking she could take like all these years off. I don't see it. Not you saying that you didn't know who Melissa was until you watched But I'm a Cheerleader. Yeah, the only song I knew about Katie Lang was Constant Craving, and she looked like a male jazz singer because of the whole aesthetic. I didn't even know she was a woman until she sang. Well, what she looked like. Now, while we might be waiting for Chappell Roan to come out with some new music, we know one person that may allegedly be coming out with new music sooner rather than later, and that's Lady Gaga. So let's get into Mother Monster, who, according to Variety, they said they heard from multiple sources that Lady Gaga is set to release a brand new song called Dead Dance just in time for the upcoming season, excuse me, of Wednesday. So we have the second season of Wednesday coming out this month. Actually, I think it comes out next week. I'm not sure. I have to check when it comes out, but I think it might be next week when it comes out. And so yeah, Lady Gaga, who she performed for this little Netflix special, whatever that she did for Wednesday, because she is on the new season, and they're talking about that she has new music coming out. So the song and video are expected to be released next month to coincide with her appearance on the show as Rosalind Rotwood, a legendary Nevermore teacher who crosses paths with Wednesday. Now, reps for Gaga declined to comment or confirm. Well, let's say comment, because they haven't confirmed nor denied. Now, earlier last month, multiple media outlets reported that Gaga, who is currently on her Blockbuster Mayhem Bowl tour, and Burton have been spotted on the Island of the Dolls in Xochimilco, south of Mexico City, which is purportedly haunted and features hundreds of decaying dolls strung across trees and structures. I don't mess with stuff like that. Just like I don't understand how Matt Rife went and bought the house that the Annabelle doll is in. I was like, no, ma'am, I don't think so. So they said sources said the song was recorded with the same team that helmed the Mayhem album, primarily co-writers and producers Andrew Watt and Circuit. Who Gaga was like, look, if Ava Max gonna rip off my sound, why this is Kev Gaga? Who haven't you ripped off with your music? But with Andrew Watt and Circuit, it's just like if I feel like I need to go and work with the people, if you're gonna sit up there and give Ava Max my sound, I might as well work with y'all. Now, Burton spoke effusively about Gaga at the premiere of Wednesday season 2 in London last week, saying that working with the multi-hyphenate artist on the series was inspirational, saying Gaga wasn't in attendance at the premiere due to her ongoing Mayhem Ball tour, but has joined a cast that includes Jenna Ortega, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and new faces Steve Buscemi as new Nevermore principal Barry Dort, and Joanna Lumley as Wednesday's grandmother. I'm like, who was the one that played the grandmother? Carol Kane? Is she still alive? I gotta look into that because I like when they had her play the grandmother. So they went on to say that she's such an artist, and so for me, working with an artist is inspirational. And this is what Burton, who directs and executive produces Wednesday, told Variety of Gaga. But I felt that way about Joanna and Steve, who I've worked with before. These people come on set, you see the whole new kind of, you see the whole crew kind of light up. It's a beautiful thing to witness. He also teased he may collaborate with Gaga again in the future, saying at the Gifoni Film Festival in Italy that he's done something else with her. I wonder if he would get her to, they didn't tell, he didn't reveal what it was, but I do wonder, because there are rumors floating around that there is a Beetlejuice 3 in the works. Jenna Ortega's been talking out of both sides of her mouth regarding whether or not she's going to return for that, because she plays Lydia's daughter. But I do wonder if he would put her in a Beetlejuice movie. I mean, it'd be definitely up her alley. And, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing the song and working this Mayhem tour when it comes around to the Garden in 2 weeks. But also, here's the thing that I'm genuinely curious about, or 3 weeks. Here's another thing I'm genuinely curious about, because there's been rumors floating around, and I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I've been seeing rumors floating around about it. And if it has been, definitely let me know in the comments. There's been rumors floating around that there's this segment in the show where people could send in comments or stuff or whatever, and it shows up on a Jumbotron at her shows. And there's been some anti-Katy Perry and anti-Madonna stuff that has been popping up on the screens. which has sparked this debate between Madonna's fans and the Little Monsters. And one of my friends who is a Madonna fan and is going to Gaga's shows, I think he's going multiple times at the Garden, he pretty much said that, why can't we love both? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with liking both. If you want to like both. It's kind of like we like when it was like that rivalry out, for example, Britney and Christina, there was a little rivalry, whatever. I like Britney and I like Christina. When it was a rap rivalry with Little Kim and Foxy Brown, I like Little Kim and I like Foxy Brown music. I like Little Kim more than Foxy Brown, but I supported both women when they were going through their whole beef situation. Same thing with music. I mean, same thing, so with hip hop, same thing with pop. I like some of Lady Gaga stuff. I love Madonna more, but because I grew up on Madonna, but Gaga has some bops and I be bopping to them. So I'm not a full on, I throw my shade, but everybody gets it equally on this show, as y'all know by now. I'm an equal opportunity shader. I don't just be like specific as to I go hard. Well, maybe I do go a little harder on some people than others. However, this is not about me. Everybody gets it equally on the show, as y'all know. But I was just like, you know what? You could like Madonna, you could like Gaga, but when certain fandoms come in with their stupidness, I feel like that's who ruins it for everybody. And I'm sure there's some Gaga fans out there that love Madonna's music and go to her shows. And so you can like both, but if Lady Gaga is pushing this narrative of she's allowing her fan base to shade other artists, to me that's tacky, and it shows a bit of insecurity on your part. So I definitely want to know, because I know these things have been floating around. I don't know if they're necessarily accurate. These days with AI and everything, it's hard to distinguish fact from fiction. So, and there be times where even when I post things online, people are like, it's not real, it's AI or whatever the case is. And so I'm genuinely curious to know if this is an actual thing that's been going on. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to hearing the music. Hopefully it's a good song. And I'm looking forward to, as I said, working the Mayhem Ball tour. I'm working 3 out of her 4 shows this month. And I'm also working Katy Perry's show. So like I said, I'm going to definitely let y'all know how both shows are once it's wrapped or once it comes through New York. I'm going to give y'all my overall, assessment and things of that nature. But I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding Lady Gaga possibly releasing new music, for Wednesday? It's funny how I didn't even think about that there would be a possibility that she would do that. I don't know why I didn't think that. But yeah, it makes perfect sense now that I think about it. So yeah, I want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. All right, so now let's go on up. Someone said Michael and Janet used to. I was like, the album cycle was 1 year of promo with 5 to 8 singles and a 2-year world tour. So the 4-year gap was allowed because the industry was, Now it's like, and we didn't have social media and stuff then. So you could take long breaks and it wasn't an issue. Whenever they dropped some new music, it was like a big event. So you were allowed to take those long breaks. Now with social media, it's like you got to constantly feed the beast. So it's kind of hard. He said, I won't be watching this, but I'm sure the homosexuals will collect all the clips with Gaga in it and turn it into one big scene pack. Wait, what you won't be watching? Wednesday? I heard rumors that Mayhem Deluxe with fans want, because she's performing Kill for Love on the Target bonus track CD. Because of the culture, they wasn't happy with the idea of 2 CDs having one. Back in the day, they used to do that where, you could go around and start buying, like with the maxi single, where you had to go, like back then, but the times, like we were saying about earlier with Michael and Janet, the times was different. You could run around and do, all these different maxi singles and put a new song on this track or that track or this version of the album, the Japan only release or the imported release in the UK, or or you could do all of that. You could spend all that money. These days people are hurting for coins, so nobody has time to be out here buying like 5, 6, 7, 8 different versions. They do it with Taylor Swift, but I guess not everybody's Tay. I'm like, are we really hating the idea of collecting music to catch all the tracks? Yeah, because I was like, we used to do that. And it's funny how you just said what I said, or you said it. I just am thinking it. So to think Taylor Swift was the only artist to get bonus tracks is ridiculous. Madonna has a CD bonus track on the limited edition of Confessions Tour and one bonus track to pay. That's what I said. It was like, back in the day, they used to release all those songs, different versions. Wait, what is true? What Robert is saying, or the whole thing about those jumbotron situations? He said the fame had us on a choke because she brought our favorite genre into the mainstream. I was just upset it didn't happen when Madonna issued Confessions. Ageism in the culture was different, and because Madonna was like pushing 40 back in, or was she in her 40s in 2005? Whereas Gaga was in her 20s. Gaga Madonna stands fighting in big 2025. You parents need to solve this ish in the asylum. The Mexican Bjork, shout out to that. First of all, sidebar, there was a whole argument, since we talking about Bjork, there was a whole situation that went on social media, and people was mad. Let me see if I still got the photo, because I don't think I deleted anything from my phone. But it was like this whole photo thing about, oh yeah, I got it. Where it was like, Billboard compiled this list of women of having the best music videos. Now, at number 9, they had Taylor Swift. Number 8, they had, wait, hold on, let me see if I could pull it up for y'all. Because I was like, damn, I got all these things open. Because I was like, let me show y'all on here. I got to scroll down for all my posts. I be having so much stuff in this damn thing. That's like when I need to get stuff. Oh yeah, and I went on this whole tangent about the way I used to wear out whole celebrity skin. That was like one of my favorite records to come out in that whole time. So you want to know something? I ain't got time to sit up in here and look for it. I'm gonna just send it quickly to Facebook, and then I'm gonna just save it on here. That might be easier to do actually, instead of going through this hell again. Because this shit is annoying when you got to do it like that. So I'm gonna just do it that way, and then send it to myself real quick so I can pull it up here. You know, I can work quickly with the photos. I was like, what am I gonna call it? Music. So let me now get rid of it before people start commenting and responding to the same thing that we already did. Yeah, this thing caused a whole controversy. Like, people's coming up here and talking about Beyonce should be above Madonna. I'm like, get out of here with that. And people was mad over the placement of Bjork, which I could agree with. Yeah, so it was this picture right here. Wait, hold on. Let me take out what Onyx said. So yeah, the people was mad. They said number 9, engine, number 9 on that New York Transit line. So yeah, they said number 9 was Taylor Swift, number 8 was Bjork, number 7 was what was that, Rihanna? Number 6 is Britney. Number 5 was Gaga. Number 4 was Missy. Number 3 was Janet. Number 2, Beyonce. And number 1, Madonna. Some people felt like Bjork should have been higher, which I do agree with, on this Billboard list of like most influential music videos, because I do think that there was a period when Beyonce was innovative in regard to the whole visual album situation. I'll give her that. But for her to be higher than Bjork is crazy. And I think the Bjork is getting astray on this because she's an underground artist, and her music has not been able to transcend into like big mainstream markets. So she's not taken as seriously. So now y'all put all these other, because I'm like, when we look at Britney has some cute songs, but as far as like best music videos, that was a reach. Gaga's had her moments too. I do feel like Missy should be higher, actually. No shade. I feel like it should be Madonna, Janet, Missy, Beyonce, and maybe Bjork is the top 5. That is my top 5. Okay, so now, this is Bunya. Gay men are given credit. With what? Like you said, I love both of them, but I love Madonna more. I just don't like the fan wars that grown men that are twice my age in their 40s are still fueling as if they shouldn't be starting a family right now. Well, if you're a homosexual, you're not into having children, that's going to be hard. But here's the thing. Is it really I don't think it's Madonna fans that are starting this. It's literally a lot of the little monsters that's been keeping this fire going. And just other people going in on people for starting. I think the Madonna fans are finished. I'm sure. Wait, actually, that's not. I'll say this. There's one particular friend that I have that has been going on. Albie, I'm snitching on you. That has been going in and just constantly with the Lady Gaga slander and all that other stuff. And it's like, I get it. You don't like her. Talking about the whole choreography for Abracadabra. He's like, how do people pay money to see this and all this other stuff? I'm like, look, if she would have said that, we already know like Gaga's never been the best dancer. She always dances like she's having a damn seizure in real time. Like we know that that's what she gives, but she's up there doing what she do. The kids are eating it up, and that's what they want to spend their money on. I've had people even coming in asking me if I can get them tickets to this Gaga concert. I'm like, you know how much them tickets are? Now, with me at the Garden, we get waived certain, like the extra fees that everybody pays on with tickets, but you still got to pay full price on the tickets, whatever. Or depending on the situation, you can find tickets a lot cheaper and do that. Because I remember one of my coworkers was telling me he managed to get tickets for the Netflix boxing match that they had. He was like, it was relatively inexpensive for him to get tickets for his friends and all the other stuff. To win Orbit, to win Orbit and Madonna for Ray of Light. Pitchfork said Ray of Light was an unexpected success, and everybody knows word of mouth was. First of all, Pitchfork don't know what the hell they talking about. It was an unexpected success. People heard the album and it just like became this thing that just blew people's minds, especially when we saw that Frozen music video. That was something that we never expected to come from Madonna. So I don't know what the hell Pitchfork talking about. Oh, you said you won't be watching Wednesday, but there are people that make videos with just the scenes with Gaga in it, and I'll be watching. So I'm gathering you're not a Wednesday fan. Oh, so it is true. Oh, so her fans are a bunch of damn haters. But her allowing it, that's just messy on her damn part. A music video list without Kylie Minogue doesn't seem right. Yeah, because Kylie is innovative also with her music video. She's definitely pushed. She's definitely come out with a lot of innovative videos. Get Out of My Way. I can think of all the time my head. Can't Get You Out of My Head. What else? What's a good one? Come Into My World, the video which is like she keeps walking the same beaten path and different versions of her comes up. Like there's been so many different interesting videos that Kylie has done over the years. She definitely should be on this list. My all-time favorite music video of all time is Bjork's Bachelorette. Well, that is a good one. Paula Abdul is better than some of average Britney videos. True, because we definitely love that Cold-Hearted Snake video, which Ariana Grande took inspiration with her Yes and music video. I would disagree because I got into Bjork from The Needle Drop, Pitchfork, and if you go on Rate Your Music, Vespertine is the highest rated female album on the site. Lady Gaga started when she lied about Madonna email, blessing her. To me, it began with her. To say criticizing a song is bullying is stupid. Well, people are always going to have their criticism when it comes to music. So if you can't take criticism, then you're in the wrong damn business. But anyway, let me take this picture out. And now let's get back into the show. And let's talk about Tank, who is going in and letting have on, because he's receiving a lot of backlash for this whole new song that came, I guess, from Aaliyah, who has a song, I guess she had in the vault called Gone, and they released it on August 1st, same day as Chappell Roan, aka Chappell Roan, released her new song, The Subway. So they put out some posthumous music from Aaliyah, a song, like I said, called Gone. I cannot believe that this month will mark the 24th anniversary of Aaliyah's passing. But the song came out people did not like how Aaliyah's vocals sounded on it. When I was listening to it, I was like, it sounds like Aaliyah, but it sounds like an AI version of Aaliyah. And I think it actually is an AI version. And people aren't feeling it. And it had Tank even jump on the line and have to basically go and tell his side of the story because people, of course, coming at him. So he went and posted on IG. He said he didn't approve the final version of the song and then expressed that the song that he first teased in May was made out of love for her. Now they deleted it. Thank God I kept the window. See, this is why I don't delete receipts, because I knew that. Hold on, let me check and see if it's actually there. Yep, it's not there. But guess what? Chris kept his window open overnight. Because I was like, this just might happen. And I kept the receipt. Well, no, not that one. This one. See, here's what he said. He said, the Aaliyah song you were hearing featuring myself, I did out of love for her. I had concerns and I expressed them. From the track to the vocals to the mix and to the visual. I still went forward knowing I would at least be able to approve the final products. I haven't approved one thing you've heard or seen. I find out when you find out. Me thinking people had changed was my mistake and I own it. Aaliyah deserves better. My silence would only imply that I support this and I can no longer. So yeah, he basically said, and this was like from 2 days ago, he said basically, Gone Featuring Myself was supposed to be something good to preserve and continue the legacy of the amazing Aaliyah, but this is not it. I'm out. And put R&B money. And then some people in the comments went and said this, I can't lie, bro. Come Over will forever be the best song you covered with her. Aaliyah deserves so much more. And yeah, they first started working with each other, I think on her final album, where she had him in the background doing vocals and all this other stuff. And I remember that was like around the first time I had ever heard of Tank, was when in interviews, Aaliyah was always talking about him. Now, I should point out that he did not specifically name names in regards to this, but he wanted to voice his perspective to basically say that he did not co-sign the final product. And so, because a lot of times in this business, y'all don't know who the people are working behind the scenes or whatever the case is. So you hear Tank on something, immediately y'all going to jump on him and be like, oh, it's your fault. Now, they said the song captures the essence of love's trials and the importance of communication. Now, preceding the 4-minute track, Tank expresses his gratitude for his musical alliance and friendship with the late singer. Throughout the track, Aaliyah recounts her side of the story, with Tank responding in a melodic delivery. Gone is a classic example of R&B storytelling. Now, he's, in his own words, he basically said, getting the call to be a part of Aaliyah's legacy continuation is truly amazing. It's a full circle moment and an honor to contribute to the project. Tank and Aaliyah's professional relationship started in the late 90s. He sung background vocals on her 2001 hit Come Over. In an interview with Elle, he shared how the opportunity unfolded. He said, quote, my dream collaboration has always been Aaliyah. I wish we could have really, really done something cool. The song you hear me on, Come Over, I just happened to walk in the studio that day. We were going to check on Baby Girl, and she was working with Jonta Austin. As soon as I walk in, she says, Tank can do it. And Jonta says, Tank can do it. And I said, Tank can do what? They sit me in the booth, and that's how I got on Come Over. So it just a happy accident. He walked in the room. He wanted to see her, say, hey, how you doing? All that good stuff. And she had an epiphany. He was like, okay, I want Tank voice on this song. And he was like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's on the track. So I listened to the song, I'm like, it's your standard R&B track. It's all right. It's not something that's groundbreaking or innovative or amazing. And I really would like to know the true intentions behind it. Like, is this collaboration because you said you want to be a part of the legacy and reminding people, I guess, and all this other stuff? Is there like a Aaliyah inspired record coming out in honor of her for her 24th anniversary? Because she was in her 20s when she died in that plane crash. So what is this song actually supposed to accumulate is what I'm genuinely curious about. So the song is all right. Like I said, nothing to brag home about. Now, the people in the comments, went and said this. Somebody by the name of Stop Fiending. Me and you had a whole back and forth about this on Twitter, and you stood by the song. Now you're saying you regret it and she deserves better? Well, maybe because when you were going back and forth with each other, this is before you heard the final product. I was going to say project and product, but I couldn't decide on which word. So I said project. Now, I love when people say you choose to be obtuse, because I use that word a lot too. Someone said there's a lot of y'all choosing to be obtuse on purpose and / or just not comprehending, and it's bothering me for real. LOL. Everyone in these comments mad at Tank like, nah, because you was riding for this back in April. Yes, he was. He literally is saying he was riding under the impression that he would be able to approve the final cut. He was operating under an assumption, got overstepped, and is now pulling out. That's extremely respectable. This industry is wild, and when it starts coming down to mixes and masters and final approvals of things, well, I think if they put of those, things can get, but that doesn't make sense. But anyway, me being the grammar police. It says things will get pretty sticky if teams are not aligned. Someone released a terribly mixed record out into the world, and Aaliyah and Tank and other creatives involved truly deserve better. The record sounds like it was downloaded by a Game Boy off LimeWire, just all bad. Y'all gotta read to comprehend, not just attack. He didn't know they were releasing. Wait, hold on. I was like, this was a long one. I almost missed my space. What's going on? Hold on. He didn't know they were releasing this raggedy mix as a final cut out into the world. People are allowed to make mistakes and also own up to their mistakes and take responsibility. That's what we ask of our fellow humans, correct? And so, yeah, that's basically it. I feel like I should just leave it there, because that, to me, that person just summed up what it was. It was like, initially, yes, it was going to be an homage to her. They were going to work on a collaboration. He definitely has a deep love for Baby Girl, which is why, from their career stemming back to the 90s and them working together and them having a deep, genuine friendship. And he thought that he was going to have final say on how everything was going to work out. Didn't work out that way. Some people, whoever was working in the background, was trying to be slick, put this song out. The song was a mess. And now they're putting all the blame on him. And he's like, I didn't approve of this. Like I was supposed to have there was an agreement somewhere where there was supposed to be some type of approval, and it didn't happen that way. And that does happen in the industry, where things are supposed to go one way and sometimes it goes left. So there you have it. So I ask you, what do you guys think of this story regarding the whole Tank Aaliyah situation? Have you heard the song? What did you think of the song? Are you team Tank or no? Definitely let me know. I want to hear from you also. Let me know in the comments down below. All right. So now, Kylie's about to begin the last leg of the Tension tour. Please allow me to mourn. Well, as long as she releases it in some sort of way, you won't have to mourn it for too long. I guess Welcome to Derry is super good and healthy buzz. HBO Max did it? Okay, congratulations. I don't know. I'm not all that enthused for it. I will watch it when it comes out, but I don't know. It's kind of like Fantastic Four. I'm not all that enthused about this Welcome to Derry situation, but I'll watch it when it comes out. Bjork should have been higher on the music video list. I say she would be right behind Madonna and Missy. Yeah, because to me, as far as like innovative music videos, Madonna, Missy Elliott definitely, and Bjork, very innovative when it comes to their music. And those videos still hold up, especially like how I first became aware of, like how would maybe really like go and deep dive into her music and Bjork's music was when I was on MTV2 and I saw the music video for All Is Full of Love, the remix, because that's not the original version. When I saw that video directed by Chris Cunningham, that video changed my life and made me really be like, who is this chick? And let me get into her music. So I went down to the Virgin Megastore when I got paid and started buying up a lot of her music. I was like, I need to have that video. I need to have access to that song so I can listen to it on repeat. I remember I used to take like VHSs and record music videos, and I used to wear that out. This is all before streaming. Yeah, those really were the days when you actually had to go and record, like wait for the music video to come on and just record it. And then we had to do our own little editing of like around, the how to bring it in and, the hard cuts into the next thing. So we was all doing our individual, editing before we even knew how to do that. Yeah, I know. It's like 25 years in freaking 2026. Insane. Just leave Aaliyah alone. It's very protective. Her death hit us hard. Yeah. And that was another thing too. It's like anything with Aaliyah, she's like sacred ground. I mean, I we get your good intentions, but Aaliyah's like sacred ground. It's like if it ain't come from, if it don't feel genuine or all the other stuff, we don't want it. Didn't she put out All This Full of Love as a video? Yeah, she did. And that's why I actually bought it. It was in a white case. I remember. It actually had the robot visual on the cover. It was like this little snap on it. Like you open it up, it was like it was like a cardboard, it felt. It was like it had a little black snap thing on it. I remember I was literally seeing it in my head as I'm describing it. It had the little CD in it and all the, the visuals and all the stuff. So yeah, I had they did release it as a video single. Exactly. Aaliyah and Selena are in the same category. It's like they're sacred ground. It's like anything posthumous that comes from them, the fans are very hard on people when it comes down to the music. But all right, y'all, let's move on into our next topic. And let's get into the diddler who is trying every stunt he possibly can to get released from the prison, even down to trying to get his ex-girlfriend, Virginia Gina. I don't know how to say her name, Huynh, but I was thinking, let's call her. That's like, let that be her last name, like she's Nicole Scherzinger doing, "Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me?" So we should probably just use that as her name. I was like, what the hell is this damn photo? Okay, I found it. So yeah, so now Diddy's girl is out here even trying to pull stunts and shows. Now, court documents filed by Combs' legal team and obtained by Page Six on Sunday included a letter written by to Judge Aaron Submaranian in support of the disgraced music mogul's release prior to his October 3rd sentencing. Saying, quote, "To my knowledge, Combs has not been violent for many years and he has been committed to being a father first," claimed who was identified as victim 3 in the prosecution's indictment. "Our relationship, like many, was not always perfect. We experienced ups and downs and mistakes were made. But he was willing to acknowledge his mistakes and make better decisions in the future." Now, when she said all of that, a lot of people was like, he got to her. Because now, why all of a sudden you changing your tune? When last time we checked, once upon a time, not that long ago, you took your Asian behind. She might be mixed with some other stuff, but she took her behind over there on the Tasha K show and was up in there talking about how Harpo beat her like he did Sophia. So she went on to say, he embodied an energy of love, patience, and gentleness that was remarkably different than his past behavior by the time they broke up. Saying, quote, "I am writing because I do not view Mr. Combs as a danger to me or my community." But should we look at her account to see how much how much is people paid her to write that letter? Now, they said this is his first criminal case. No, really. I mean, did we forget about, he's been back and forth in the courtrooms many a times. Did we forget about the basketball stampede incident? Did we forget about the whole situation that happened where Sean ended up going to jail for 10 years? Did we forget about the pow in the club incident? So maybe this is his case where he went to jail for, but I wouldn't say that this is his first criminal case. She said he has substantial ties to his family and community, including children who depend on him for emotional and financial support. More or less the financial. than the emotional. I want to ensure the court that if released, I believe Mr. Combs will adhere to all conditions imposed and will not jeopardize his freedom or the well-being of his family. Well, sis, you don't have a pot to piss it or the window to throw it out of in regards of like having a leg to stand on in regards of being the emotional core of vouching for a man that you accused, as I said a couple of years ago on Toshke, of beating your ass to the point where I believe she was in the hospital. Because, yeah, she said that he stomped on her stomach really hard and took the wind out of her breath. Oh, he loved using his feet on women, we've noticed. She said, I couldn't breathe. He kept hitting me. I was pleading to him, can you just stop? I can't breathe. She said her relationship with Combs began amid his on-again, off-again romance with Cassie, who testified as the prosecution's star witness in the trial. Now, here's the thing. Now, if you want to really make things more interesting, why don't you even hit up Cassie and ask her to write you a damn letter? Because that's what this feels like. He was mentally, emotionally, and physically abusing me. He would always compare me to Cassie and tell me that I'm the bad one. She's the good one. She also claimed that everyone around Combs allowed the alleged abuse. Now, last month, you already know he was found guilty, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to keep racking up what he's been guilty of. We already know by now. Child, quiet as it's kept, Helen Keller know what he's in jail for. And she dead, deaf and blind, and dead. But even she knows. Now, from what I heard, because I was given this tea before we got to this topic, apparently the judge denied Diddy. Let me look it up and see if it come up. Yep, it came up. Diddy denied. Let's go to, you know what? Fuck TMZ. We're going to Deadline. Let's use what they had to say. So now they went on to say, with less than 60 days ago before Sean Combs is sentenced on his transportation to engage in prostitution, the All About the Benjamins performer has once again come up short in his desire to get out of a $50 million bond, or get out on a $50 million bond, a federal judge ruled this afternoon. Saying, quote, as for risk of flight or danger, Combs fails to meet his burden by clear and convincing evidence for the reasons set forth on the record at the July 2nd, 2025 hearing. This is what Judge Aaron Submaranian ruled today after a weekend of filings from both the prosecution and the defense on the latest release attempt. Combs' team, along with his August 3rd letter in support from AWOL trial witness victim number 3, including, aka Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Virginia. I ain't going to do the thing again. Have insisted over and over that their admittedly domestic violence perpetrator client poses no flight risk or danger and thinks the therapy has changed. Oh, because he started doing therapy for 2 seconds, all of a sudden, he's a new man? Get out of here with that. Like, who are y'all trying to convince? Nobody's buying it. So you tried it. Child, there's more Blake Lively stuff. I'm gonna say that for tomorrow. But they said the judge, because the judge is smart, wasn't buying it. Now they said increasing the amount of the bond or devising additional conditions doesn't change the calculus given the circumstances and heavy burden of proof that Combs bears. Saying at trial, the defense conceded the defendant's violence in his personal relationships. This type of violence, which happens behind closed doors, is impossible to police with conditions. The judge who will sentence Diddy on October 3rd added, on this basis alone, Combs' application is denied. Navin scored another win on keeping Combs in custody at New York City's Metropolitan Detention Center, where he had been in custody since his September 2024 arrest. And look, at least by the time next month comes around, you've done a year. So that might be a year knocked off your sentence. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York had nothing to say about today's order. The usually chatty Mark Agnafilo and Terry Garrigo-led defense were also silent on Monday, at least. Now, well, what else could they come up with? You pulled every other rabbit out of your ass that you could. So now I think the next stunt that they're waiting on is a Donald Trump-esque pardon, because I did hear that would be the next move that they were going to get. But didn't Donald Trump just come out and say that because I don't like some of the stuff Diddy said about me back in the day, I think he half guilty. How can you be half guilty? You either are or you aren't. But look, abusers and pedophiles and all kinds of, don't y'all all birds of a feather flock together? So you would think that you would try to let Diddy out of prison, but because of some of the stuff he said and has gone against you because of who he's voted for and has been very anti-Trump in the politics, you already know Mr. Petty LaBelle that's running the Oval Office and the country is gonna be feeling away and is gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna give Diddy the freedom. And at this point, it's like, is there a limit on pardons? I wish it was, because it just seemed like you just be out here giving pardons like Oprah was out here giving out books and cars and things. And so, leave his ass in the jail. And so every little stunt y'all pulling, I don't know why y'all keep going against it. It's like, look, he got another month and some change to go before his sentencing. Just do your time and keep it moving. You run out of, freedom coupons. You've already worn out back in the day when you had other people taking bids for you and doing your criminal activity from the little stampede thing at the college. The bid that Sean had to do for you when you had the gun, and he had the gun too, but the little situation y'all was doing when y'all was up in the jail, in the club, where that woman got pow-powed and I think she got shot in the face or something. And some of the other things that have transpired over the years that you've gotten away with because of your money and your status. You don't have, you'll always have money, but your status you're not as powerful as you once was in the music world anymore. So Diddy, just do your time. You did the crime. Just continue to do your time until your day comes when you get your sentence read down to you. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this latest on Diddy's ex-girlfriend wasting, her handwriting skills and getting carpal tunnel, writing his letter to the judge? Probably had to type it up and just email it. Who knows? Sending this letter to the judge trying to get Diddy to go free. And the judge was like, no, he's going to sit his ass up in the jail and he's going to do the rest of his time until the day of his sentencing. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so now let's move on to our next topic, and let's get into MGK. So one of the things I did not know about Machine Gun Kelly, well, we know he's been out here running around trying to get into acting and all this other stuff. One of the things I did not know until he went on the Pat McAfee show last Thursday was that he actually was up to audition to be in the movie Sinners, which is like one of my favorite movies of 2025, as you already know, because I've talked to y'all to death about it. So he's supposed to be in the movie. However, they put him as, like, he was supposed to play the role of Remick. He was not supposed to play the role of Remick. He was actually supposed to play the Klansman who Remick comes to visit to seek refuge from the Native American, slayers that were hunting him down and was going to kill him. So he was supposed to play one of the guys in the house, that was the Klansman, him and his wife. And I think it's because there is a scene in the movie where they all kind of have like this musical number. And so they were going to have MGK be a part of it. But he said he wasn't doing it because they wanted me to say the N-word in the film. So Kelly, as I said, appeared on the Pat McAfee show and said the following. He said, like Sinners, I was supposed to be in that. The vampire they had me set up to do the audition is the one that's in the house. So he's the second vampire, the one that the guy comes and eats the family. In the audition, he has to say the N-word, and I wouldn't do it. He said, I have a lot of aspirations to be in movies. It just hasn't panned out that way. But I'm on universal timing, he explained cryptically, then went on to explain it'll align. The angels will put something in the works. There's been plenty of movies that come out that I was like, I was supposed to be in that, or I did auditions for that. I wish I would have named all of them. The show's co-host, Darius Butler, then gave him a fist bump for taking a stand about what he would say. Kelly said that he was referring to the second vampire, likely the role of Bert, a Klan member, they said KKK, but he's a Klan member, who was turned into a vampire by Remick, played by Jack O'Connell. Now, Peter Germanis ended up playing the vamp's role in the hit movie that starred Michael Bakari Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, who found out she's half black, and Miles Catton, saying, I'd like to be in cinema while I still look young. Now, his album Americana comes out on August 8th. That will be this week. And you know what? Shout out to MGK. One of the things I did not know about him was the fact that he has a black daughter. And everybody was putting that in the comments. Oh, he has a black child. That's why he did it. And then some people was throwing in, watch how many people say he's invited to the cookout. Well, apparently he's already been invited to the cookout because he's been out here pounding black coochie. So I guess by that definition, he already has been invited to the cookout. But, and then of course, you know, him with Megan Fox, that whole drama. But he's saying, like, I got a deep mutual respect for the black community. And it's like, even if I'm playing the role, you're not getting me to say that word up in this film. And good on him for not compromising himself for a part. And I know it's like some people are like, well, look, Ryan Coogler directed it, wrote the script. I don't think he'd feel no ways tired about it. But because I guess some people have a hard time separating musicians and acting and thinking that it's all about pretend and performing and all the other stuff. He didn't want to subject himself to that out of respect for his child and his love for black culture and the black community, or hip hop culture, or just urban culture in the black community, I should say. So good on you, MGK. I mean, I would have loved to have seen you in Sinners, because Sinners is a good movie. That would have been a great film to have on your resume. But I like the fact that people are willing to compromise their Christianity for certain things. And I use the word Christianity metaphorically, not literally. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding MGK saying that, yeah, I wasn't coming and doing, I would have loved to have been a part of Sinners, but no, I wasn't saying that word in the movie, even though it was in the script. But look, I'd say it under Ryan Coogler than this damn Quentin Tarantino, quiet as a scam, if I was a white man. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, y'all. So now, sure, let's get into this mess. Sex in the City, and Just Like That. It was announced last week. I know it's late news by now, but last week we didn't get to do a show. The last time I was on was Thursday. And right after, it was, the story came out, I think on Friday, that the show had been canceled after 3 damn years. And hold on, because I was like, damn, I forgot to actually upload the other picture. So yeah. So after 3 seasons, and Just Like That was canceled. I remember I was hearing, I think there was rumblings about it that I had found out. And then all of a sudden they put out a confirmation that the show was canceled. And I didn't feel bad about it because, as y'all know, I had been griping and complaining and bitching and moaning about this show for the longest. And I would see what was it? New York Post and all them. Here y'all go with y'all bull crap narrative to my wokeness and stuff. And we already know y'all like to weaponize that word and use it as a racial slur towards any type of diversity you're going to bring on the show. And my thing is, I don't mind if you're going to make a New York City-based show about a bunch of white broads, but what you're not going to do is try to act like y'all are from New York and you have not encountered any other people of color. Like, everybody in New York is white. That's some BS, because me growing up in New York, you're going to be surrounding yourself with a diverse group of people, but don't try to shoehorn in people of color just so that y'all can check off a box or pat yourself on the back and be like, oh, look, we included black people, we included an Indian chick, we included some homosexuals, we included a bunch of other stuff. And then y'all still in this day and age was using your gays as window dressing, especially Mario Cantone. But the show kind of suffered a little bit because her main gay, Stanford, is dead. The real life actor that played him. Stanford died. And I liked Stanford when he was on the show. But nevertheless, there's been many reasons why some people were saying that the show was canceled. So let's get into it. Now, the current season, Just Like That will be his last. Showrunner, writer, and director Michael Patrick King revealed in a statement on social media on Friday. And they wound up saying the following. So yeah, let me pull up the other picture that I was stalling to pull up. This one. So he wound up saying the following. And just like that, the ongoing storytelling of the Sex and the City universe is coming to an end. While I was writing the last episode of And Just Like That Season 3, it became clear to me that this might be a wonderful place to stop. Along with Sarah Jessica Parker, Casey Bloys, and Sarah Aubrey, we decided to end the popular series this year with a 2-part finale and extended the original series order from 10 episodes to 12. SJP and I held off announcing the news until now because we didn't want the word final to overshadow the fun of watching the season. It is with great gratitude we thank all the viewers who have let these characters into their homes and their hearts over these many years. And this is from Michael Patrick King. And no shade, sir, but I'm calling bullshit. I do not believe not one judgment. Oh, well, we were going to hold off on it, but this is going to be the last season. I'm sure that they were probably looking at those numbers. They had an idea, whatever the case is. And then HBO was probably like, you know, this show is not really registering with the fans. They're not getting it. I do think the whole concept of having women of a certain age trying to figure out how they navigate through New York today is definitely a great concept that would have worked. However, when you don't have Samantha Jones, that majority of us relate to, and I have to laugh because one of my friends, because when I said no Samantha and I live for Samantha, it was like, of course you would relate to Samantha. Like, and do. So when you don't have Samantha Jones around, that definitely hurt the show. When you bring on these other characters, well, it's cute. I like Seema, but that wasn't enough to keep the show afloat. Miranda was getting on my goddamn nerves. The whole situation. Carrie was insufferable. The only one who I felt like had a real genuine storyline that felt like there was an iota relatability was Charlotte, especially when she was dealing with her kids and everything. And the way that the stuff that was going on with that, I was like, okay, that's kind of working, but I just didn't care enough about all these other characters. Y'all already know, like, the whole role of Che took me out. Y'all got rid of her. Then you had Cynthia Nixon out here hunching Rosie O'Donnell. Then I remember one person saying that, child, if there was one thing I could have dealt without, is seeing Mario Cantone's bare butt. So I think that was in the latest episode regarding him. I don't know. I haven't really been watching this season. Like, I haven't even finished the rest of season 2. So I don't really know what's going on. I just felt like I checked out. I went back and started watching the old episodes of Sex and the City, but I just don't care to hang out with these women this time around. And I feel like if y'all do try to bring back Noah's Ark, y'all really need to do better than that last movie y'all put out, because that was a disappointment as well. I'm like, what is this storyline? This is stupid. It feels like it's very childish. It was like Patrick Ian Polk channeling Tyler Perry. That's what it gave me with the last Noah's Ark. So if y'all do get the comeback, I like the nostalgia effect, the execution of the storyline and everything going up in there. It was a job. Same thing with Sex and the City. It's like, we love the nostalgia aspect of it, and I feel like we're in that nostalgia era. But as far as like the storylines, I just don't care to hang out with these women. So you know what? Kim Cattrall was onto something by being like, I'm out. There's other things I could be out here doing. Now, as y'all know, the original Sex and the City debuted on HBO in '98 and ran for 6 seasons and even spawned 2 theatrical films. And just like that, reunited 3 of the core 4 women of Sex and the City. As you know, SJP, Cynthia Nixon, Kristen Davis, but Kim Cattrall did not return as a lead. So it could be all of that. And there was like this big discourse of, I was like, should I even try to spend the time to go down and find out what people, because I feel like, we'll be here all day trying to find that, because I be posting so much stuff on my social media that it might be hard for me to find that story regarding Sex in the City and why a lot of people just aren't feeling it anymore. But while I struggle to find that, hold on, can I find it? Yeah, it might be a while before I get to that. But anyway, so yeah, it's about it might be it's gonna be hard for me to try to find it because there's so much stuff that I have on the social medias. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. Why do you think that's and just like that, just a lot of people just didn't register with a lot of people. Why do you think it's not as successful as Sex and the City? It don't need to be the exact thing. It needs to be, if it's going to be a continuation of the show, then that's great. But if you're not going to really make it interesting or whatever, then I just think that people are just ready to move on. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story and why And Just Like That was canceled? And do you believe Michael Patrick King or what he wrote in his letter saying like, yeah, we try to hold off as much as we can. It was literally going to be 10 episodes, but we thought let's just end it with the 3rd season and give y'all a 2-part season finale. Who knows? Maybe I'll just even out of just to see it all kind of wrap up, I might just indulge and just do a whole binge watch. Then we finish watching the rest of season 2, watch season 3, and then when it all ends, I'll just give my overall assessment. But yeah, I just feel like all the things that I said is why the show is going on. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. I was like, oh, where is the thing to take out the heading? Ew. Why? Because he can't get pussy nowhere else? Because that's the word on the street is that he can't get nobody. That he's been struggling a little bit trying to maintain, being friends and hanging out and doing other stuff because of the administration. And you got to realize that being the president's son, how hard that's got to be, especially when your father's acting like a damn lunatic. It wasn't that good. As a super fan of the spinoff, it definitely lost its way, but maybe it'll come back in another 20. By that time, these women will be 80 years old or 70 because they're already in their 50s. Not and have them in a nurse home. Hated Sarah to the point she couldn't swallow her pride, plus the way they handled the girls aging like they're behind the times, and many people felt it was a slap in the face. It is, maybe it just, I think it also lacked authenticity, and it just didn't feel relatable in a lot of ways. So that kind of turned off a lot of people when they can relate to those characters. I'm like, quiet as it's kept, you couldn't relate to them back then either, because there's no way in hell that Carrie Bradshaw would have been able to have an apartment that she had on the Upper West Side with the type of job that she had, being writing a column. She would not have been able to afford like her place out there. There was a lot of unrealistic things in that show, and that's why a lot of people moved to New York. Don't even get me started about, what do you call them? The imports, the people that come here and transfer from like Iowa or Minnesota. But I moved to New York because of Sex and the City. All right, y'all. So now we got about 4 topics left till we're at the end of the show. So before we get to those final 4, the core 4, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Evelyn Unfiltered. After the end of the live stream, I will be putting in timestamps so that way those who are just coming in after the live stream and watch the playback can just go to the description, in the description situation, and click on whichever topic tickles their fancy, unless you want to sit and wait for me to edit down the show and post it on, as individual clips, or as I did with the shorts. So without further ado, let's talk about Adam Lambert, who is coming to Cynthia Erivo's defense regarding this whole situation. So yeah, as Cynthia Erivo channels the Son of God, her Judas is coming to her defense, and that would be Adam Lambert, who, they just did Jesus Christ Superstar. It was like, I think, a 3-day show or whatever the case is. And yeah, it just wrapped. So yesterday was the final, I think, performance. And now he's coming out and talking. So now in an interview with Billboard, Lambert, who plays Judas opposite Erivo's Jesus in the production of Jesus Cristo Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl, says he is excited to present a depiction of Christ played by a female Black actress. Erivo's casting has received some pushback from circles who think the holy titular role shouldn't be played by a queer woman of color. He said, Cynthia is brilliant. Her voice, presence, and simultaneous power and vulnerability absolutely blows my mind, and working with her has been a dream. I'm excited by the challenge of presenting the audience with a production led by a female Black Jesus and encourage the audience to expand their minds a bit. Originally utilizing rock and roll, Jesus Christ Superstar is supposed to provoke and challenge. That's the point. And shouldn't the teachings of Jesus transcend gender? Well, it transcends race because quiet as it's kept, y'all still got this man out here. Y'all thinking it's a white man, but isn't the description he got hair made of wool and he got a tan? So Jesus is a Black man, but y'all keep trying to make him look like some white man with long, flowing, soft, hair and things. Y'all trying to whitewash that man in many of the books. But hello, so if y'all could change up the man's race, we could change up his gender for a damn musical. Now, during her own Billboard interview in June, Erivo laughed off the negativity surrounding her casting, saying, "Why not? You can't please everyone. It is legitimately a 3-day performance at the Hollywood Bowl where I get to sing my face off." So, well, basically over-sing, because you and Quiet as it's kept. I love you and Adam, but I did see some of the clips online, and y'all were over-singing. And I'll tell you, that vocal masturbation thing that y'all be doing, and Christina Aguilera and all of that, that annoys me to a point. It's like, we know y'all can sing. We know you can hit the notes. Y'all don't have to, always show off your range. We know y'all got it. Bring it down, from a scale of 1 to 52, can you bring it down to like in the middle of that? 1 to 50. Bring it down to a 35. So they said other cast members include Milo Manheim, Raul Esparza. Raul Esparza, I remember him. He was on Going on to SVU. He played not detective. He was 88 Barber. I loved 88 Barber. He's like one of my favorites. Him and Cabot, those are my favorites on SVU. I kind of wish he would come back. I wonder if he's family. I gotta look into that because I always thought he was cute too. And Philippa Sue, Josh Gad was slated, as I mentioned, to join the cast, but dropped out the last minute because he had a complication with COVID, and then they brought in John Stamos as a replacement. Now, the 3-night event taking place August 1st through August 3rd, which I told y'all last night was the last night, is directed and choreographed by Tony Award winner Sergio Trujillo. The show will be conducted and music directed by Tony and Grammy Award winning Stephen Oramis. And so what happened already, I did see some of the clips and stuff online, and like I already gave y'all my opinions on the music. It's like, yeah, we know y'all can sing, but the whole vocal masturbation showing off thing, that always irritates me at times. And it's like, we know you can sing, you don't need to show off. But look, art is always subjective. Art is always supposed to be about, changing things up, changing people's minds. You have to be, when it comes to certain themes or whatever, especially when it comes to art, people have forgotten what it's like to be open-minded and go in with and accepting things that's different. And if you don't like this version, you could go and just watch the original Jesus Christ Superstar. I mean, that's what makes things exciting when you can come in and you have a different idea. It's the same thing like with Sunset Boulevard, the one that Nicole Scherzinger won the Tony for. They came in with a different version of Sunset Boulevard, different than the one that Glenn Close did and so many before her. And people live for it. She kept getting these 10-minute standing ovations. So if you have a new idea and you have a new way to revive an old pre-existing IP, why not be open-minded about it? And if you don't want to go see a Black queer woman playing Jesus, then don't go see it. But you don't have to voice your opinion on social media like people give a good goddamn what Joe Schmo from Buttfuck Idaho thinks. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of Adam Lambert coming out and championing Cynthia Erivo's Jesus Christ Superstar casting? Did you happen to catch the show out there when it was planned for those 3 days out in good old LA? Whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so let me close that. Let's see what the people are saying. Laniers in the building say, even though I was not a fan of the franchise, I think the absence of Samantha was a destruction of the ensemble that made the show, much like B. Arthur when she left the Golden Girls. Absolutely. I think it's always about the chemistry at the end of the day. So if you have your core 4 and then one of the women decide to leave the show, you think that, okay, the show will last with just these other women. But it's like, no, it was all about these 4. It was always about Samantha, Charlotte, Miranda, and Carrie. It was about that group. You can't do the show without those women. So when one girl leaves, the dynamic is different. I don't care who you try to bring in as a replacement. The dynamic just isn't there. The chemistry isn't there. And yeah, it's a different type of chemistry, but you need your original group to come back and, give that inspiration, that influence. And yeah, with Samantha not being part of the show, people felt it. And it's like, I just don't care. There's a video from Access Hollywood showing Brandy Glanville and her face. Damn. She put nail on her. This lady is something wrong with her. Because I remember she was going through it before. There was something that had happened. I think she said due to stress, her face was looking crazy. And now you still messing up your face? Something wrong with that lady. Now talking about somebody need to go on botched. But anyway, let's get back into the show because I was like, hold on. Because the videos, the clips that I have, I got to make sure that I got them. I don't know, because it's like when you have a lot of windows open, it starts messing around with videos that you already have prepared to show y'all when it comes to the certain topics I'm about to get to. But now that I got that situated, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming. And let's talk about Project Runway. So I was like, should I even start doing Project Runway recaps and things like I was doing with Drag Race? But look, since we got a Drag Race alum a part of the show, let's get into it. So last week, I believe it was Thursday, they dropped the first 2 episodes of Project Runway season 21, which features Ethan/Utica Queen on the show. And I have to say, Ethan has surprised the hell out of me because I was expecting some fierce fashions because we already know, like, if you watch Drag Race, there have been some queens that have said that, oh, Utica has made clothes for me. And to this day, I still live for that quilt outfit that he wore on the runway. I'm still gagged that he didn't win because maybe Rue don't know shit about fashion except for what y'all put on her. But nevertheless, he should have won that challenge. And so now he's getting his due diligence on Project Runway. The first episode, yes, he ate. Second episode, I'm going to agree with the judges where it was just like, yeah, when your team lost and one of the people on that team went home, which we won't find out until the next episode. I do agree with they were saying, like, you was only worrying about you, but you wasn't worrying about being in cohesiveness with your other team members and making sure that y'all look and stuff was copacetic when the stuff started coming down that good old runway. So let's get into the tea. Oh, and shout out to Roscoe's because they're not only doing Drag Race recaps, they're also doing Project Runway recaps. And I think it's because Utica's on the show. And I think in the first episode, which probably aired already, I believe, because it's like it's after 8 over here on the East Coast. Utica and Raja was on the show. So I definitely am going to check that out once I'm done with this. But so it says RuPaul's Drag Race season 13 Queen, Utica Queen has returned to reality TV in Project Runway season 21, and though she's best known for being the kooky seamstress of the workroom and beyond, she has charmed viewers and the show's judges in the double bill premiere of the latter. Utica, known out of drag as Ethan Munt, is part of a 12-strong cast of designers who are all competing for the attention of a gag-worthy panel of judges, which includes the return of Halloween Queen Heidi Klum and as the head judge after she departed from the show in 2017. And after Project Runway's double bill premiere, it seems that Utica/Ethan is one to watch out for after she snatched the first challenge win of the season. And so, yeah, she definitely did snag the first win of the season, and I was like, I am living for what Miss Mamas has been delivering, especially with her clothes, which I do have a video of that. Hold on, let me see if I got it. So yeah, it was this one. I'm gonna put it on mute. Heidi Klum, she is the queen of Halloween because every year she's always coming out with some crazy look. So you're definitely gonna notice that that she's actually going to go in. That's something that she's going to gravitate towards. That look specifically is something that she's going to gravitate towards because that's kind of plays in her wheelhouse with the little witch's nail and the gothic look and everything. And I think that's always been a fear that a lot of people think that drag queens can't necessarily design real ready to wear outfits or like give real fashion, they're probably going to think, oh, everything's going to be too costumey or whatever the case is. So there's that overall fear of that. But I don't think that Utica can do that. It's like, yeah, we love drama. We love over the topness. And I'm really hoping, because I don't know, there's spoilers and stuff out there. Probably is because of Reddit. Love spoiling things. But I hope that Utica makes it all the way to the finale, because I would love to see a collection from him and seeing what that looks like, because now they have them on the show where they're splitting into teams and they're like in a house and they're doing a collection, which I actually like that they're having them do that type of challenge. So yeah, in episode 1, the 12 designers are split into 2 fashion houses, princesses or villains. That was the first, but then they changed it up. With Ethan assigned villains and having turned out a gag-worthy evil queen-inspired cloak and jumpsuit, he snatched the win in front of guest judge Kristen Siriano and series newcomer Laura Roach. I already heard people out here getting all pissed off about some of the stuff that Laura's been saying. I'm like, no, I live for Laura. Laura is somebody who's in the fashion industry. He has dressed some of the biggest clients on the planet, including Zendaya and Celine Dion, and Ariana Grande. So if these women have hit the red carpet and y'all always gag over everything they wear on the red carpet, I'm going to take his word. Even though, yeah, he could be a little mean-spirited, but we live for it. And some people, he's trying to be the Simon Cowell. I'm like, did y'all not see him on Legendary? Like, he was way more harsh on that show. And to me, I will say this. I was kind of sad that they got rid of, what's her name? Casey Black, because she came on one of the previous seasons, I think it was season 19, and got eliminated again. First episode, she was a pork chop of both seasons. I did feel bad. I'm like, damn, they're going to get rid of her. And then we've had Antonio, was it Antonio? No, it was Jesus Estrada. He was on like the earlier season, which I think was like season 7 or something or another, and then he came back years later, along with his twin brother. So now they're trying to, they're like the sugar and spice of Project Runway. And equally as annoying. Although I can kind of tolerate sugar and spice. Whereas the Estradas, y'all was getting on my damn nerves, especially that queen with the mullet. I wasn't particularly feeling him. What was his name? Antonio? I was not like him. First of all, both challenges, his clothes was tacky as hell, trying to make fetch happen with them fabrics. I was not feeling it. I do feel like Lord was a bit harsh, but he made Antonio cry at one point. He made Jesus cry. Antonio was the one with the mullet, I believe. Then Antonio got hella defensive. Somebody, am I being punk? Bitch, this ain't MTV. This is Freeform by way of Hulu and Disney Plus. So no, you're not being punked. You were up here for real because they was not filling your outfit. And they was telling you about it. It's like, yeah, Lord could be harsh, but this is also TV. So he gonna go in and be a little extra, throw a little extra seasoning on the situation. And I was here for it. And the fact that he tried to blame Christian, as everyone was like, child, stop it. And you know what? As much as I love Tim Gunn, and I do wish that Tim Gunn was on the show again, on the other hand, I do like Christian being there because I love this whole idea of someone who actually was on the show, competed and won, and still is one of the most successful designers from that show out right now, working with some of the biggest clients on the planet, including Whoopi Goldberg and so many others, that he's coming on and being a mentor. So I like the angle of having someone who's been on the show and understands how the show works and what it's like being in that pressure cooker and giving constructive criticism versus Tim Gunn. Now, I wish that Tim was on the show, but it's like, look, we under new management. Things have changed. Things happen. So hopefully we'll see Tim down the line. And then they had in the second episode, they had a different situation where we had the House of Lotus versus the House of Burn. The House of Lotus, and then Utica Queen got to pick and choose who she could swap out for her house, got rid of one of the Estradas. He ended up on a team with his brother. They ended up winning. There was the House of Lotus. The House of Burn was in the danger zone. And then while Utica was getting praise over his designs, some of the members of his team was not. And so I should point out, hold on, because we do have that look, which I was actually liking the whole ready to wear outfit. There was some people over there that was wearing like ready to wear fat. I'm like, I would not wear that. Why would you put, if somebody's going to work out, who the hell's working out in a corset? So yeah, Miss Mama's outfit was a mess. And you know, when you put outfits on big girls, there's a whole situation that goes with that. Why is this thing not, hold on, what am I doing wrong? Oh wait, I was like, because I had to get rid of one of the other videos. So yeah, there was this one. I don't know about the shoes, but I was living for the fact of like the one sleeve, like the red on the one side. That was another thing too. There was lack of cohesion in regards to the whole black and red thing. I was thinking that a lot of the designers should have had that on their look. There was a lack of cohesion with the colors and everything. But I love the idea of her having like him making like this one piece ready to wear. So it's like you could work out in and you could just go out and have a drink or something with some friends afterwards. And the fact that he pulled the hair in a ponytail and a hat, I thought it was cute too. So I was like, that's generally a good look. Give a little pocketbook and like some cute little sneakers. I guess the stilettos work, but I don't know. I wasn't really feeling the shoes. Now, I should point out that some of the guest judges for the new season include Christian Cohen, Harris Reed, Jenna Lyons, Joan Smalls, Michael Kors, who I miss him on our TV, Mickey Guyton, Nikki Glazer, Sarah Forza, Sofia Vergara, I think she's on the next episode, Tyra Banks, and Zach Posen, to name a few. So it's going to be a relatively interesting, entertaining season. I'm definitely living for what Utica is giving us so far. And like I said before, I'm definitely hoping that we get to see more of him as the show progresses and that he makes it into the finale, and then I hope that this opens the floodgates for more drag queens to want to come on to the show and design, because we definitely need that, or a show where we could see, maybe I shouldn't give away my idea on the camera, but I got, revolving drag queens and fashion design, but I'll keep that to myself in the meantime. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Are you living for this coming, this so far for the last 2 episodes of Project Runway? I have to admit, it's been years since I, sat and watched Project Runway, but I was like, once I saw Heidi Klum was coming back, y'all got Laura Roach as a judge, Christian Siriano as a mentor, even though he has been a mentor before, but I doesn't care what he was on with Carly Kloss and all of that, and how that certain contestant called out her the nepotism aspect of her being on the show and her family connections on why she is where she is. That was the read of all reads. But nevertheless, I'm liking this whole dynamic and how they rejudged the show, and it feels exciting. You know what, Drag Race? I feel like y'all need to take a hard look. Even though y'all already filmed season 18 of All Stars 11, but with y'all coming on season 19, I think y'all need to sit and watch this show and really take note, because y'all getting a little stale over there in regards to y'all judging panel, the way y'all coming up with y'all challenges. It's not as exciting. We watch it. I feel like we're getting to the point where we're just watching it out of obligation. Like, we don't even care. It's like we hate, the hate watching is starting to begin on Drag Race. So I feel like y'all need to just watch Project Runway, take some notes, and do a little retooling, because y'all can use it, especially with Ross and Carson. Because it's not about time for them to sashay away. No shade. I'm just saying. Y'all done overstayed your welcome. You need to be Santino'd. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, you said Utica was my favorite season 13, and I really do hope she wins this thing and eventually comes back on All-Star season and wins that too. Yeah, but if the judge is going to be up in there trying to manipulate and do all stunts and shows and things with like controlling the narrative, then I don't want it. My favorite Heidi costume was when she did Jessica Rabbit. That's why I say I love that she's become like the queen of Halloween. Like, some people, y'all just want to kill y'all relationship, which she did do with Sia when they kept getting married every year. I like the whole thing when you come up with a new concept for Halloween. Noah says the back shoulder queen can fit in those Brown Thomas outfit. Christian is probably the most successful of anyone that's been on the show. I never hear much. Yeah, I haven't either. I couldn't even name not one person that was on that show. I mean, Jay McCarroll, he was like season 1. I can't even believe I remember that name. But yeah, Chris Siriano is the only one that's come from that show that we know that has like the most, that we still hear his name. He works with some top-notch clients. So, yeah. I still remember the Carly Claus. I think you talk about the shade. I'd love to see Manila on project. Does she design? Because I'm like, if she design, you know what? Maybe U-Haul can come on there and design too, or is she just somebody who's a good seamstress? I think RuPaul needs to go. I think only Michelle needs to stay because of the love is still there. RuPaul is phoning it in. Well, you know, because he makes a lot of money. He's a capitalist. So, but Ru's not going anywhere. He'll always be a part of Drag Race. I mean, if you want to have Michelle go and do other series that you don't want to do, like Down Under, which I thought she did a good job as a judge, she should do that. I kind of wish she would just let Courtney Act do it. But we know they don't get along, so there's that. But yeah, it's like you're phoning it in. Maybe you need to, or maybe what needs to happen is he kind of needs to pull a Heidi Klum, which is, well, I don't even know if it was Heidi's choice to leave. Is that go in, you know, disappear for a couple of years, go do that other fashion show that she did on Amazon Prime Video that was canceled, I think, after like 2 seasons. And then they'll have to back the Brinks truck up to bring you back. Because they tried bringing in so many other hosts, and none of them had the Heidi Klum factor. And I think it's because Project Runway was her baby. That's something she created. She also did she do Germany's Next Top Model? So yeah, Heidi Klum was out here doing a whole lot of stuff. And Project Runway is her baby. So for you to just, whatever the drama was that was going on at Bravo or Lifetime, or whatever the case was, and she was no longer a part of it, that was your mistake. But now that she's back on the show, people are eating it up. That's too damn long. Because I feel like Santino was on for how many seasons? 7 seasons? 8 seasons? Christian is why we got the Cindy tour. Because the gays is why we got the farewell tour. Yeah, so a decade of being on the show, y'all phoning it in too. Because I just be finding it funny. It's like, what are you even talking about? Like some of the critiques y'all be giving, it's like y'all just be pulling stuff out y'all ass. Like it make no sense. But anyways, now speaking of Drag Race, let's get into some Drag Race news. What y'all thought? Because Drag Race ain't on no more, we wasn't gonna have no Drag Race tea. So yeah, Evie Oddly, there was a story that was going around that based off of her IG post that she was quitting drag because she was doing like a I think a garage sale or something or another, or yard sale as you will call it. So yeah, hold on as I pull this up. So yeah, there was this post that was on her page, and now she's clarifying. Now Evie Oddly is such a fan favorite who has competed twice, where she won her season and then came back for the All-Stars All-Winner season. She sent fans into an absolute spiral after announcing a yard sale flogging her clothes that said she was quitting drag. But now Drag Race winner Evie Oddly has given a statement clarifying if she actually is quitting or not. It's too much. So yeah, because what she put in the comments, she put, it's happening. And then when you look at the thing, it says, things, stuff, and even etc. A birthday, barbecue, and yard sale too. I think you forgot to add the extra O for 2. Celebrate Evie Oddly quitting drag. Support her disabled little cripple baby medical thingy. Fund her drug habit, and even etc. I think she's joking with all of that because I'm like, not your drug habit, child. And it says, and then I have the address set on her actual birthday, August 22nd, noon 7 p.m. We'll be grilling. Bring your own bottle, I guess, or a dish if you're chilling. Also, there's a little pool. We will accept all the different pay apps and cold hard cash. ADA entrance through alley, I guess. Well, ADA is for people who are disabled. Limited street parking. Selling every gender clothing. Also, art, knickknacks, furniture, the shirt off my back, and pussy. It's like, girl, you are a mess. And then saying this is going to be quite a massive endeavor, and I know I can't do it alone. That's why I'm asking for the help of my Denver fam to make this slay. Shout out to my friends for letting me use their space. Now, over the coming weeks, I could use all sorts of help to prepare, from wig care to minor clothing fixes to organizing and handiwork, there's a list. I'll be setting up a little schedule to tackle this list and offering a $25 credit per hour of help with a cap of 4 hours. That's $100. In addition, you will be able to place one item on hold, which will still be displayed day of, but at double the price should anyone else wish to buy it. If you got my number, text me, and if you don't, but we're cool, message me and we'll pencil in some paid hangout time, LOL. This sounds just too complicated to be trying to keep all this stuff together. So yeah, so there was this whole thing about her quitting drag and the money raised from selling her clothes of all genders and all this other stuff. And then, she has this condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a chronic type 3 illness. She often, she's been open about it and how that it impacts her performances. But despite the panic, she said she is not actually quitting drag forever necessarily. Now, clarifying the point she made in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Evie said, I think it's hilarious with no shade to every diva who believes in her heart that she's quitting. A queen is like, I'm quitting drag. No, you're not, bitch. You might not be gigging as much. You might keep a secret pair of heels in the closet. But look, at all the other queens who quit, Fifi/Jeremy still does drag. Tyra Sanchez quit, came back, and quit again. Y'all can't get a queen to quit drag if you wanted to. Sherry Pie still has a career. The only way a queen quits drag is through death. So for those who thought they never see Evie come out and perform as a queen of drag, basically she's not quitting drag. And here's the thing. I was always saying, I don't think you can quit drag. I just think that it's either in you or you're not. Like, if you're an artist and you feel wholeheartedly that you have, any type of creativity flowing within your veins, whatever the case is, the inspiration hits you. There are people that just go quit drag, come back. I mean, how many times has Trixie Mattel talking about, I'm taking a break? They do it all the damn time. So I think Evie is probably going through some things right now that she doesn't necessarily want to fully disclose at the moment. But I feel like when the mood strikes her, she'll be back performing on a stage near you and still gigging and doing drag and things. But just for now, whatever the issue is she's going through, it's I'm just getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff. She probably needs the money, which I think somebody did put in the comments. Bianca Del Rio put, okay. Another person put, are you broke? Etc. Put, even ETC. And another person put, so excited to start our new husband and wife law firm, Oddly, Ilsley, Gus, and Laszlo, LLP. Goodbye, drag. Another person, can you add your Cash App or VR code so those of us far away can support your disabled little crippled medical baby thingy? Another person, I'm sad to see you quit drag, but you got to prioritize that physical/mental health. Another person said, you existing is drag, so you can't quit drag. So a lot of people, of course, even when they say this, you can't quit drag, I don't believe you're quitting drag. And some people still want to give her money, regardless if they don't show up or not. So, like I said, or like she said, even, it was nobody really quits drag. It's the only way you can quit drag is if you die. It's when I always say people who have careers don't quit. You can stop doing it and you may want to unretire or whatever the case is, but people with jobs retire. People with careers, they keep doing it until they can't do it no more. So shout out to you, Evie. I'm sure we'll be seeing you down the line sooner rather than later, and I'll definitely be keeping you guys abreast of this story as it develops. But in the meantime, what do you think of this story? Do you think that Evie would be quitting drag, even though she said, yeah, nobody really quits drag forever? I think it's just a temporary thing. It could be that, yeah, she's probably struggling a little bit with bills and things of that nature, and probably is selling all her stuff to make ends meet. And, with the fact that our medical industry is a mess, the fact that, there's certain places that are getting universal health care and don't have to pay anything. We're the one paying for them to have it in Israel, but we can't even get universal health care in the United States. But so, which is why a lot of people are struggling or having to go bankrupt or whatever the case is to even support their medical endeavors. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Said plastic tiara will be good in there too. Yeah. Oh, well, Does Plastique make clothes? I mean, I know she wears a lot of crazy. Well, she does create. I know she puts a lot of her stuff together. I don't know if she's a designer, but if she is somebody who designs, I definitely would love to see Plastique on the show, or she even have aspirations to want to even make a collection. Yeah, Heidi did do Germany's Next Top Model. I remember Tyra mentioned that a long time ago. Well, Evie's condition is probably getting worse. Yeah, I mean, she said it was going to happen down the road. That might be why she's quitting drag. But yeah, well, when she's ready, she'll come back. Okay. Let me see. Where are we? Let me close out all these windows before we get to our final topic, which is shout out to my trans girls who have made history over there on the Family Feud, and that'd be specifically Celebrity Family Feud, where they pretty much made history as the first group over there to, what was it? Oh, to be the first all-trans girl group on Family Feud. So shout out to them. The star-studded team, named Team Laverne, and I know everybody's mad at Laverne Cox right now, but this was filmed long before Laverne came out and started to praise that damn MAGA dude, like, a massa or a slave wanting, gratification from her massa. So, Team Laverne joined the game show on Thursday, July 31st, featuring queer royalty Laverne Cox, T.S. Madison, my girl Mila Jam, Jocelyn LaFreeze, and Peppermint. The group represented the first all-trans team to compete. Now, the group played to raise money for the T.S. Madison Starter House, a charity led by T.S. Madison that describes itself as an innovative housing initiative designed to support and empower Black trans women engaged in sex work. Well, here's the thing. If they was playing for the T.S. Madison Starter House, why wasn't it Team T.S.? But they had Team Laverne, I guess because Team Laverne is the bigger... Laverne Cox is the bigger name. She's like one of the big, even though, yes, Maddie is famous in her own right. I think Laverne is the more bigger star because Laverne dabbles in both. She's like mainstream, so she can go in those sophisticated white spaces and go in those Black spaces as well. But I think she's more accepted in the white spaces. So yeah, they said the T.S. Madison Starter House is a re-entry house for system-impacted trans women. This is what Maddie said in the Instagram video posted by Cox ahead of the show's airing. Hallelujah, honey. We're going to have us some fun. We're going to make some money for charity, and we're going to look good doing it. This is what Cox replied. Now, Maddie also caused quite a stir during her appearance on Celebrity Family Feud, making a tongue-in-cheek joke about her name. Now, of course, I got that clip, which we have, I believe, courtesy of her Instagram. So we're going to go and play that clip, and we're going to come back and talk. Please hold.
Yes. Can I just call you Tia so
Of
we
course.
do the whole thing?
You can give. Listen, I take it short or long. Oh, Steve Harvey, it's okay to free ball. We're free balling today all day.
Free ball.
Some of us are without the B word. So some of us are free. Some of us have set them free.
Oh my God.
Mine is named Chucky. Friends to the end.
TS? Can I just call you TS? So
Of
we do the
course.
whole-
Okay, now, can we talk about that wig that Laverne had on? Somebody said, and I saw it on one of the things, they posted an emoji of the little Asian girl from Pen 15. I don't know if you ever seen that show, and said that's what her wig resembled. I'm like, what is going on with Laverne and her wigs? First, she had that Storm wig from Temu, the one that Storm wore in X-Men Days of Future Past. She had that wig on where she was up in there gloating over that MAGA, man that she was dating. And now she up in here wearing this ugly wig. But I'm like, look, that's what she want. That's what she like. It is what it is. I wouldn't record doing it, but that's what she had on her head. Now, Shea Coulee said, I'm screaming. Steve didn't know what TF to do. DJ Larry P said, poor Steve, he just wasn't prepared for the girls today. Somebody set him up because they wore him out during the intros. Angelica Ross put OMG. The Jinx Monsoon put some laugh emojis. We had Big Freed up in there with laugh emojis. Anthony Polanco, so we are free balling today. Gay Magazine says Steve Face. So we had a lot of people that was up in the comments, making comments and all that other stuff. Now, I will say this. They went up against Team Diplo. I'm like, Diplo is so damn fine. But, you know, they had Team Diplo versus Team Laverne. Team Diplo ended up winning. But, and I think they, regardless of if you win or lose the charity, whatever, the money still, you know, you still get a little money for charity. So, shout out to TS and all of them. I love the fact that even in this administration and the world in which we live in, where they trying to crack down on the T-girls, even though quiet as it's kept, a lot of y'all love the grinder. And the girls a little something extra, but on the screen y'all want to hate on them, but then behind closed doors y'all be paying for that, for a little extra alone time with the girls with a little something extra. Yeah, I know y'all T. Yeah, y'all souls and T has been clocked. So in regards of saying that, shout out to y'all. I love that fact that even with all of this stuff, you know, the industry is still pushing out there and showing visibility of the libidica, that would be the LGBTQ plus community, and we're seeing our trans girls out here still making moves and making history and getting on TV and showing, because we need to show that, and we show it through art. The more you see people on TV, you realize that trans people are not the enemy. Queer people are not the enemy. The real enemy of why y'all are losing your jobs and things are being taken away from you and all this other stuff is not because of the trans. It's not because of immigrants. It's because of the oligarchy. It is because of these millionaires and billionaires who don't want to pay their taxes, who don't want to give you a job, who want to cut corners and be able to continue to accumulate money without having to pay people for the work that you need to pay them to make you much richer and wealthier. So shout out to y'all. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure it's like, I don't know where you could watch Celebrity Family Feud. I think you could watch it on, I know I have Philo. I don't know if it's on Hulu. I have to check to be if they have a Family Feud or Celebrity Family Feud up there. And then you could definitely check out the episode. But y'all already know, like, when it comes to these type of shows, be it Celebrity Family Feud, Worst Cooks in America, all those type of shows, I always like the celebrity renditions of those shows rather than the regular season, because it's always interesting to see celebrities kind of being competitive and all that other stuff and doing things for charity. So, what do you guys think of this story? Did you happen to check out Maddie on Celebrity Family Feud? What were your overall thoughts regarding the episode? Did you keep watching it and having a good old time checking it out and all the other good stuff? I definitely want to hear from y'all, so let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. He said, I love Evie, and she used to be my fave queen from the whole show, but I followed her a few weeks ago after. Wow, what happened? I was like, what's going on with you and why did you follow her a few weeks ago after George's loss? I'm like, what does Evie have to do with George's unless she said something you didn't like? Not you unfollow Maddie and Laura. What is going on? And you said Laverne also feels more mainstream and not so sexually explicit. Yeah, because Maddie is very unfiltered in her delivery and some of the stuff she says, so she can be a hard pill to swallow. I like people that are just 110% like upfront, honest, and just real and raw. So that don't bother me, because growing up in New York, that's when you dealing with those type of people. It's like, I like when you be upfront and just honest how you are. And yeah, Laverne can toe that line. She's what you would call non-threatening, which is why she felt way too comfortable revealing that MAGA story and then realized why she was dragged. And I think it's because she is one of those Black queer people that people look at that as like, because you are that type of Black child that is easily, can fit in and assimilate into a lot of those white spaces. Well, Black people, y'all can sit up here and welcome queer people with open arms, but a lot of y'all don't. Y'all won't invite the Billy Porters, the T.S. Madisons, the Laverne Cox, and all of them, which is why when they go to those white spaces and Out Magazine and Viacom and RuPaul's Drag Race and MTV will give them the love and support, but BET won't. Why do you think that? I remember Bosco making a joke about how Willow doesn't have that much time left. I was like, is Willow 9? Okay, I wasn't the only one cringing over Laverne's wig. Child, them wigs been a choice lately. I don't know. Is she on a budget? I followed a bunch of queens from the show after the riggery of All Stars 10. Only 9 and 8 remain. But I don't think it's their fault. It's production fault. So don't hate on them. Hate the people that's working behind the scenes that's pulling these damn strings. But anyway, y'all. All right, so now we are officially at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this long episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, because it was like, yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on. And you know, that first topic took me out with the breaking down of the Fantastic Four and all y'all comments stuff coming. But yeah, I love y'all. I appreciate all what y'all bring to the show. The new fans, the old fans, I should say new subscribers, old and old friends and stuff that's been following. I hate the word fans. All of y'all, I consider us being friends, like we family and stuff of that nature. So I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in and supporting the show and hitting the like button and subscribe button and also the notification bell and being a continued supporter and the commenting and all that good stuff. I definitely appreciate all of y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch this mess of a damn show and to contribute all your time and effort into commenting and all the good stuff. So yeah, once again, before we wrap up the show, could you please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of the show. So definitely look out for that. Love you all for watching. Thank you all for your continued support and, you know, all that good stuff. Thank you all for everything else in between. Until next time, ciao, darlings.